Talking true crime with MJ. Cases on the screen, yeah, we mainstay. Breaking down facts, every frame weight. City in a voice, every word blade. They throw dirt, plot in a group chat, smile in her face. Same ones who do that. Think she soft cause she cute, let them think that. Till they see how she moved and they fall back. Men locked and can't miss one show. Refresh page when the upload go. Women watch too, tryna study her glow. Some take notes of the ones throw stones. Combos with MJ, tap and stay live. Hit like hit share, yeah, help her rise. They hate, they plot, but she built from fire. Click sub on a page if you feel that vibe. Hey. Combos with MJ, true cut like steel. Stream run deep, cause the pain's so real. They talk, but they can't break will. So like and subscribe if you know that feel. You count climb, that's the proof right there. Can't dim shine when the grind is rare. Self-made queen in a swivel back chair. Whole new world in a ring light glare. She stack funds, every post, every ad. Turning dark stories to a big brown bag. Knows the law, knows rights, never move sad. If you cross lines, then it's up, that's bad. Men obsessed, blowing up her DMs. I love you, marry me, she just skims. Women envy, wanna walk in her Timbs, but she stay or never trade for them. Convos with MJ, tap and stay live. Hit like hit share, yeah, help her rise. They hate, they plot, but she built from fire. Click sub on the page if you feel that vibe. Convos with MJ, true cut like steel. Stream run deep, cause the pain's so real. They talk, but they can't break will. So like and subscribe if you know that feel. All that gossip, all that noise. Can't shake poise, can't steal voice. Can't stay clean, mind stay sharp. Heart stay strong in the deepest dark. Convos with MJ, tap and stay live. Hit like hit share, yeah, help her rise. They hate, they plot, but she built from fire. Click sub on the page if you feel that vibe. Convos with MJ, true cut like steel. Stream run deep, cause the pain's so real. They talk, but they can't break will. So like and subscribe, let the fam all build.
What up, party people? I am back. Good folks of the algorithm. How you doing? It's your girl, MJ. I hope everybody is well. I hope everybody have a great weekend or a great Sunday. Y'all was able to get y'all resting and do whatever y'all need to do. I've been MIA. I've been very, very busy. I had a funeral to go to. I had to say farewell and rest in peace to one of my past commanders who passed away. But I enjoyed the funeral. We definitely sent him off like the president. So I was happy to participate in that funeral to say goodbye to him properly. So if I seem a little down, that's the reason why, because, I really don't like funerals and saying goodbye to good people, especially when you do have good people or you get to meet good people. It's a terrible loss, definitely a terrible loss to their family, to the community, and to the work organization as well. But I am glad to be able to have some time to come on live with you. Today's a celebration, guys. Today's a celebration. We have actually made it to 200,000 subs on this channel. Congrats to us. Thank y'all so much. I want to appreciate all the followers and everyone who has subscribed, even the new subscribers that have came to the channel. You was a part of making the channel grow. I want to thank and appreciate my mods. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the cats meow. I truly appreciate for all your help and all your service of helping this channel and sharing this out possible. I really appreciate it. So it is a great celebration to this channel. This is our channel. We are the only ones that are in control of this channel. And if we want it to grow and if we want it to get bigger, then we got to keep on doing what we're doing, right? We're going to keep on doing it. But I just want to say thank you to every last one of you. Even the guys and people, girls and guys who just come in to drop a like and they dip. I appreciate you. Nonetheless, I really do appreciate you. All right. So I want to go ahead and shout out all the people that have came in the chat so far. Truly appreciate you. Let's give it up for Miss J. Hola, mami. Que lo que, que lo que. It's good to see you this Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate it. Corinne, once again, thank you so much, dear, for coming. I truly appreciate you. Happy Sunday to you and your family. Miss Joanne, my sis from Canada, shout out to you, dear. Shout out to you. Happy Sunday. I hope everything's going well with you and your family. Truly appreciate it. Sweetheart, dear, I truly appreciate you as always. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hope everything is well with you and your family. Truly appreciate you. Then we have my problem child. What up, problem child? Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Good to see you. I hope everything's going well with you as well. And we have Chile. How you doing, Chile? How you doing? It's been a while. How are you? Happy Sunday. I hope everything's going well with you. Thank you for stopping by again. Alicia, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Happy Sunday. Thank you for subscribing yesterday and actually coming over to view your first show. I hope you enjoy it, dear. I hope you definitely enjoy it. And thank you again for the congratulations. Let's see. Ricardo, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. Happy Sunday. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. I hope everything is well with you and you're having a great Sunday today, sir. You and your family. King Kamikaze, what's going on, bro? What's going on with you? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for coming. Truly appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Let's see. S. Rain says watermelon or banana. They're both great fruits, right? Shout out to you. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Yeah, I truly appreciate it. He was a great man. Very great man. So it's a sad time, but then I'm glad that we was able to let him go beautifully. Very beautifully. And if you want to actually see the funeral that I participated in, just go to NYPD PBA. They broadcast it. They have all the videos and stuff. We had the governor and the mayor of New York and everybody there. Like I said, we sent him off like the president. So I'm very happy about that. Very happy about that. Joanne said I'm cleaning up the storage. Okay, no problem, sweetheart. No problem. Hey, NYC Femi, good to see you. Happy Sunday. I hope everything is well with you. She says, sorry for your loss. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. You're not the first one who says I look like Lauryn Hill. I don't see it, but I truly appreciate the compliment, right? I'm definitely going to take it as a compliment. So shout out to you. And thank you so much for your condolences. Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. And again, thank you so much, my people. I appreciate you for the congrats. This is our congrats. We did it together, all right? We definitely did it together. Hey, Miss J, you finally came back. Yeah, my hair is getting super long, Miss J. Oh, I might have to cut it, man. I definitely might have to cut it. I might have to cut it. Oh, yeah. Is it rainy Sunday? Oh, okay. Okay, I understand. I hate that when it's raining. Right now it's sunny, but it's cold. I wish the spring weather would pick up here. You know what I'm saying? All right. So guys, I do have 3 cases for you. I'm not going to keep you too long on your Sunday because I know y'all got things to do, right? And we're grown adults and this is how we move, right? King Kamikaze, go in the corner. Go in the corner. Not Miseducation of MJ. Child, you a hot mess with that one. You a hot mess with that one, but I dig it. I have 3 cases. I hope that you enjoy it. Shout out to Beyond Evil Red Thread Interrogation. I'm using videos to review on their channel, and I appreciate that they allow me to use their videos to do this commentary. So shout out to them. Go ahead and subscribe to their channels. Let's build it up. We are a community of reviewing law, crime, and new cases, current cases, cold cases, you name it. We go over here, we deal with it, and we dissect it over here, okay? So shout out to those channels, and please subscribe to them if you want to. All right, so the first case that I have for you good folks, let me see which one I want to do. We are going to do the one about a wife, okay? A wife doesn't realize that the police know that she's the killer. I thought this was interesting. This is the first time I'm seeing it with you guys, so we're going to review it together, okay? Let me go ahead and pull up my screen. And I hope you guys can see this. And here we go.
It had something to do with Larry's death.
I wish I could talk to you because I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Lori Eisenberg. 1 month ago, Lori lured her husband to a desolate part of this Idaho lake, surrounded with forests, and drowned Larry more than 200 feet to the bottom of it. Lori thought that with her acting, no one would notice what she had done.
I was trying to grab him.
Okay,
We got find him, and then he just started to fall.
But she has no idea that at this very moment she isn't a victim, she is a murder suspect. Because clue?
Larry is Autopsy, and there is a large quantity of Benadryl.
After clue will prove that detectives have been sitting in front of a killer from the very beginning.
So the end result is, quite frankly, did you kill Larry or didn't you kill Larry?
Hey, Troop, how are you doing? I hope everything's well with you and
On
the
the
family.
cold winter morning of
Happy
February
Sunday.
13th, 2018, dispatch in rural Idaho received a panic 911 call from 64-year-old Lori Eisenberg.
911, what's the address for your emergency?
I need help. I'm on the lake.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you. What's the address?
I'm on the lake, but I don't know where. My husband he had a stroke and he fell over. He's gone. I've been looking for him for hours.
Quickly, search and rescue and law enforcement were dispatched to Lake Coeur d'Alene. Search and rescue got to work patrolling the lake in an effort to find Larry. Meanwhile, law enforcement questioned Lori about the events leading up to Larry allegedly falling off the boat.
Hey, Lori. My name is Deputy Baum, and I'm with the Sheriff's Office. I'm just going to try to ask you some questions so we can kind of figure out where to go from here. Okay? Can you tell me, how did you get the bloody nose?
I fell down.
You fell down.
So
Okay.
she fell against the door.
Trying to
She was
grab
trying to-
him.
Okay. All right. Well, we got
Find him.
we got the best people out there looking for him right now. Okay. So we're going to do what we can. But can you tell me about how far you were when he fell in?
Closer to this side, I think.
Okay, closer to this side. Okay. Did you see any houses or big trees or landmarks?
In the water.
Okay. It's
No,
okay.
I didn't see.
About how far do you think it was away
From what?
from where you got picked up by the fireboat? About how far from the shore do you think? Maybe. That's okay.
She said he believes he might have had a medical episode that caused him to fall into the water.
Okay.
He was acting. He said he didn't feel good and he was doing things weird. And then he went up to the motor and the motor wasn't broken. It was the other motor.
Okay.
And then I said, "Why are you doing that?" And he
Mhm.
turned to look at me and his face just looked,
Okay.
it looked awful. And then he just started to fall. And I tried to get the door open and get to him and I couldn't grab him and I fell.
Okay. Okay.
And then I didn't see him.
Well, like I said, we have the best people out there looking for him, okay? Very good divers, very good rescue team that's out looking for him, okay? But if you can think of anything, if while they're checking you out, if you can think of any landmarks or anything that you may have seen, and I know it's kind of hard to think about right now, but if you think of anything, please let us know, okay?
Lori was visibly distressed at the scene, and though from the outside it looked like Larry had simply had a medical issue and fallen overboard, there were still some red flags popping up in the supposedly grieving widow's story. Namely, the fact that it had taken her several hours to call the police.
Yeah, so there was it does seem like she's upset, right? There's a few things that she was saying while she was talking to the rescuers or the first responders that kind of, threw me off. They asked what happened to her nose, right? And she said that she fell. She said that she fell trying to catch him. They can look and they can see whether or not if did you scratch your nose or did you break your nose? Did you hit your nose or anything of that? So they could definitely tell the difference. The second thing that I would have to say that kind of stood up to me because she said that he was acting weird. And while he was acting weird, he went to go check the motor, but he ended up checking the wrong motor. Well, my thing is, if he was acting weird or if it seems like something was going on, like he was having a medical emergency, why would he be active to still go ahead and check the motor? I'm looking at her. They seem like they're in, decent age, decent old age, right? And I haven't seen a picture necessarily of him yet, but I'm thinking that they're of a certain age. Normally, when you're 40 plus, if you know that something is wrong with you or something don't feel right, you know what we tend to do? We tend to sit our asses down, right? We tend to sit our butts down and try to figure out what the hell is going on. Maybe takes a sip of water, depending on what's bothering us, a headache or things like that. So we don't go, oh my God, I feel that I'm sick and I'm going to continue to work anyway. Mind you, I'm not going to say that that's everyone. We do have our workaholics who likes to work through their temporary ailments that they have going on in their body. We do know that, right? But majority of people, if they're feeling woozy, dizzy, they're having heart palpitations or anything of that, if they feel like they even having angina, right? Or any form of stroke, they would tend to sit down and probably call 911. Now, also hearing that she didn't call responders or 911, that he fell somewhere in the water or down the hill or the cliff. She didn't call for a long period of time. That kind of also raised thoughts as well, right? Because if you hurt your nose because you was trying to grab him before he fell, then why wouldn't he be like, oh my God, let me call 911 and tell him, hey, listen, my husband just fell. I don't know if he went in the water. I don't know where he is, but he just fell and we're at this specific location. You don't wait hours, you don't wait hours. And especially you being an elderly woman, what pretty much more can you possibly do? You're not going to go try to travel down there with him so you can fall off the cliff too, right? So those are the two things that kind of like struck out to me in reference that. And then she kind of paused when the responder started asking her other questions. She will pause for a second and then she would answer it, right? That little pausation lets me know that she's thinking of something off the whim, not because she's hysterical, not because she just had a traumatic experience. It seems like she's trying to think of something off the whim that seems plausible, right? I should say it like that. But let's go on. Let's go on a little bit more.
Which she blamed on not being able to locate his cell phone on the boat. And, according to her, she was trying to get to shore, but because of the broken engine, it was a struggle to get anywhere. Outside, the lead investigator pulls a brand new trainee aside to give him some words of wisdom. That someone can appear to be a victim, but may in fact be the perpetrator, or vice versa.
He's got quite a bloody nose. She says she fell down trying to catch him and busted her nose on the boat. She's pretty freaked out. So in this case, in cases like this, you don't lose suspicion if you're picking up on weird shit. Keep that in mind. But when you're talking to them, hey, we're doing our best. We got good people out there working.
Lori was brought to the hospital so medical professionals could take a look at her bloody nose. Detectives met her there following her assessment in order to ask her a few questions. Questions which only brought up more questions.
So let's fast forward up to the point where he starts having his medical issue. Kind of explain that part to me.
Okay, I don't know where we were. I'm going to assume. That's okay. He had said something about, I'm sort of waking up and he said something about the resort. Mm-hmm. I think he said, there's the resort. We were going to go to it for breakfast because he said something about the resort. So I was sort of like, okay, time to wake up. We're going to go to breakfast. And, chatted a few minutes. Again, I wasn't tracking time. And then he stood up and he sort of, matter of fact, I think it broke the key. He sort of leaned on the key, sort of odd the way he did it. And I just sort of looked at him because he just sort of got it fast. Mm-hmm. It was, we weren't fishing. It wasn't like, oh, wow, watch the fishing pole or anything like that. And he said...
You remember him leaning on that key? What?
Let me...
Oh, that's okay.
I don't yes, I don't know that I saw him lean on the key, but I think I saw him do something that made me think that.
Okay.
And then later when I tried to start the motor, the key was bent.
It is bent, yeah.
And it's the choke thing. Oh. No, that happened earlier because so that was a little bit earlier that he had done that. And then it wouldn't start again. And so then he took it out and he saw the key was bent and there's two little bolts or something that had fallen off.
This is a detail that investigators immediately flagged as odd. The ignition key for the boat had been bent. Not just a little bit, but completely, something that would have taken a great deal of force to do. Initially, they suspected that it had been snapped in some kind of struggle or fall against the key while it was in the ignition.
And then he said something about the motor wasn't working right. He stood up, and the motor was in the back. And he opened up the thing to go out on the, you saw the boat, so he went out on the front and closed it. And he went over to the electric motor. I said, honey, what are you doing? And he said, well, the motor's not working right. I said, we're not using that motor. And I'm sitting in the chair here. I'm looking at him.
Okay, so more about what she's saying is starting to seem weird, right? She said that he bent over or like leaning on the key when I guess he was trying to go to the engine. My thing is, if right there you seen that he's having a medical emergency, right? Like maybe he's having a stroke, then why not just tell him, okay, honey, let's go sit down. Like maybe you need to sit down for a bit. Don't worry about the engine right now or turning it on. Let's just, get you calm and relax. And then we'll go to the bread and breakfast after that, right? If you feel better. The fact is that she continued to allow him to go to the engine while he's supposedly leaning and showing signs of distress. That's what's kind of like, weary to me, right? Then now them mentioning that the key was bent in a way where it seemed like someone was trying to turn on the key and someone was fighting them not to turn on the key and it kind of got bent in that type of way. That's a little odd. That's a little odd myself, right? That, that takes a lot of force, a lot of strength to do that. And like I said, they seem fairly old. I don't think they would have that much force to bend it in that way unless it was, deliberately, right? Deliberately or some form of leaning against something or hitting something to break the key, right? And then the motor situation. So she's talking about he went to the wrong motor. And my thing is, I will want to know, and this is just my opinion, an outsider looking in, I would want to know, do he always have episodes like this? Is this the first episode that he ever had where he started to seem like he was a little delirious and he doesn't know what's going on? He doesn't know where he's supposed to be checking at, because what she's explaining is that he was a little delirious going to the wrong motor box and not knowing that that wasn't the one that he wanted to go to. So I would want to know, does he have something like that? Then I will ask questions about medication. Is he taking medication to have side effects that you do tend to get delusional, or did he take his medication, right? Maybe he didn't take his medication and this is what happened. Like, we don't really know his health, to identify why he had this medical episode. Off the bat, you would just say, okay, they're of a certain age. We do know that when we grow older, we're going to have certain medical, complications that happens in our life. That's just a part of nature, right? Even the most healthiest, 75 or 85-year-old, when they put, when they put on their death certificate, what was the reason why they died, they're going to name exactly what ended up taking their life, even though they were healthy. So again, it seems very weird. And even the way how she's explaining it seems a little bit off. I'm not trying to necessarily hold it against her right now. I want to know if once they start doing their investigation on the boat, are they going to find any blood samples, any DNA samples? Are they going to find DNA on the keys, DNA within the cracks of the keyhole of the engine? I want to know if they're going to find any blunt force trauma, right? Are they even able to find his body? Like, these are the things that I would be asking if I was on this investigation. Those are the things I would want to know going forward. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? We on live. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, sir. Hope everything is well. Hope everything is well. And just make sure y'all hitting the like button for me, guys. Like I said, I truly appreciate it, right? It does help the channel, as you can see, because he did get to 200,000 subscribers from it. Or you can hit the down button, still helps the channel, and share this out to anyone who likes this immersive conversations that we are having in the chat. And please feel free to write down any of your theories in reference to this. Like I said, this is the first time I'm seeing it with you folks, so I'm just giving my honest opinion off of what I'm seeing. King Kamikaze says, sounds like she was trying to lighten the load. It kind of does sound like that. We don't know, but we'll find out more information. Let's just hear what else she has to say to the detectives while she's speaking with them.
It's right there. He did yeah, and he was working the motor like this, and then he just sort of looked back at me like that, and he'd been sort of bent down with the motor, and then he stood up. He stood up quick, and he sort of looked at me, and his face just looked, I can't describe, it just looked blank. And then he just turned, so now he's that way, and I think he was trying to turn so hard.
Okay.
I think he was reaching for the
window or the glass or something.
Right there. And so then I jumped up out of my seat, but he had closed the window thing there, and he's falling. And so I jumped up out of my seat, and I had to push that. And I think that's when I fell, because I was grabbing for him as he was falling over. And then he just fell in. And he didn't come up. I mean, I saw his sweatshirt, and the boat was still going. And so I ran because I couldn't see him, and I thought, well, the boat's going, and that's not good. So then I was trying to run back in, and the zipper things are there, and I tripped and fell there, and then got those up and looked, and I couldn't see him there either. Let's see where I went. I turned to my left. I looked on that side.
And when you said the motor was still going, the gas motor is what you're talking about, right? So that one was still running when he fell in.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was idling or something like that.
Right, that's what he was saying.
So you weren't up on a plane or anything, but they were still running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't going very fast.
Okay.
So then I looked, and he wasn't there, and then I ran over and I looked on the other side, and of course was screaming, and then went back up to the front, and he never came back up. And I thought he'd come back up. I was going to throw him a life jacket or something, and he just wasn't there. And so then I just kept, sort of running back and forth and calling his name, and I couldn't see him. And then I just started driving the boat, thinking, maybe I'd see him.
People who are grieving and experiencing trauma do some strange things, but guilty people do things that are, shall we say, facepalm worthy. According to Lori, she drove around for nearly an hour and a half just looking for Larry before she decided to look for help. Then she drove around the lake using their backup engine, trying to find civilization so she could have someone call the police. Until finally, several hours after the supposed love of her life fell in the lake, she found his cell phone in the boat and then called police. And while that story alone is unbelievable, she couldn't even stick to it. Throughout her various interrogations, Lori tells police 3 separate locations where she found the cell phone. At this point, police are obviously suspicious of her. But in the midst of the search for Larry, she's arrested for a completely different crime, one that makes her story even more suspicious.
My kids had a lot of medical expenses and things, and I just wanted to help them, and I thought I could pay it back. I didn't take any of it. I mean, I know I'm taking it when I take it and help my kids.
Are we talking a lot of money? I don't know
Yeah.
how much money.
Probably
Just
about
a guess.
200,000 over a couple of years.
Okay.
And I told them I can pay it back.
Lori worked as the executive director for a nonprofit organization called the North Idaho Housing Coalition, a company that
So that, my friends, that is what you call intent. Usually when cases are brought to the court, even from the prosecutor side, they need three things to pretty much have a case to present to the courts: motive, intent, means, right? They need those things. And so far, I'm getting that was the intent if she is the one who actually unalived her husband, right? If she had money problems from her prior job where she took over $200,000 and she said that she did it to take care of her children's medical bills, then knowing that she probably don't have that money, it must have been a life insurance policy type of situation. I'm not even sure whether or not if her husband even know that she had that type of debt, right? Because there's the problem lies, right? That type of debt, and if you are legally married, that debt is also your spouse's debt. Now, I don't know if he knew about it. Maybe it was going to come to light. Maybe they were going to bring her to the courts in reference of it, that she said that she would pay it back, but she didn't. And maybe that could have been a reason why she decided to do this, right? Because if he has a life insurance policy of 200,000 or 300,000, 500,000 or $1 million, well, right then and there, hey, pay off the debt, and who knows, right? There was something else that was also said that was kind of weary to me. She didn't even try to throw a life jacket to her loving husband. I find that quite odd. I really, really do. Because if he fell off, and that's another thing too. You notice how she haven't said that she heard any screaming, but then again, that if he was having a medical episode, let's say angina or any form of stroke, right? Then if he's unconscious, of course he's not going to scream. But she didn't throw a life jacket, didn't even think to even throw a raft or anything on him, right? Or a buoy, something. She didn't try to throw anything. But she said that she tried to catch him while he was going over the rail, and she hit her nose from that. And like I said, they can determine whether or not if the hit on the nose was from a fall or the hit on the nose was because somebody hit you in the nose, right? These medical professionals can tell the difference, right? They study how wounds occur on people, right? But she didn't throw a life jacket. She didn't throw a raft. She didn't throw anything, a buoy, nothing. And then she said that she was looking for him or looking around for an hour. Then she drove to another location to try to find civilization so she can call 911. And then even that, an hour later, she just so happens to find his cell phone and was able to make the call. I find all of that really odd. If they have been sailing or been on boats pretty much majority of their adult lives, I know she should know what is the procedure going forward if one of them fall over the boat. And she didn't fall over the boat. Then I also want to just express the way how she's even talking about the situation. She doesn't seem how can I put it? She doesn't seem like she's still in distress of not knowing the whereabouts of her husband. That's been ringing in my head a little bit, how She was crying and everything when the first responders first got to her. And now she's still not even, she's not even asking the question about, hey, is there a search team, out looking for my husband? I know that we were in this area. I know we was in this area. This is where he fell at. Did somebody see anything? Or, whatever, right? She haven't mentioned anything about that. She seems a little bit more concerned about getting her story straight, and her, her persona of being a distressed wife who's traumatized is kind of like disappearing when she's having a conversation, to my opinion, right? It might not seem like that to anybody else, but it doesn't seem like she's really too concerned about the whereabouts of her husband, whether or not if he's alive or not, whether or not if he came to it and he was able to swim to some shore that's around the area that they are. She's not really even concerned about that. And that's concerning to me. That's concerning to me. Because I tell you, if that was my husband, and if that was my kid or somebody that's very dear and loved to me, number one, I would have been on the phone calling 911 from the get-go, especially if I couldn't pull him up and he fell. I'm calling 911. Shoot, I might literally jump my ass in there to go find him. I could put on the life jacket. I might jump in there and find them, right? If I know how to swim. I suggest people who don't know how to swim don't do that. But yeah, if you know how to swim, put the life jacket on and you go and find him out there, in the water if you want to do that. And then why would you leave the area, right? When I looked at the pictures, the water didn't seem like it was flowing downward or upward. It seemed like the area that they were at, it was kind of pretty much like a plane. So if you traveling around to see if he was like, thrown down, further or upward, I don't really see that really playing in this situation for her. So for her to like literally go around an hour in that like around that area or going to another location where they were in at to find him, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. But oh well, we'll see. We're gonna see a little bit now. Miss J says she snapped. It seems like a little bit. She's too calm. Yeah. I don't want to pin it as she's too calm, because some people are calm, but it does ring a bell sometimes, especially when you're talking about a loved one.
She embezzled $500,000 from in just a 4-year period. Ultimately, she was arrested and booked for 1 count of grand theft and 40 counts of forgery. Yes, 40. And while that crime was hefty enough, police still had murder on their mind. But charging for murder is incredibly challenging when you don't have physical evidence to back it up. Due to the frigid temperatures of the lake Larry was believed to have drowned in, police expected that they may never find his body. Cold lakes rarely give up their dead because the freezing temperatures prohibit decay, which results in bodies often resting on the lake bottom for years. But in this case, police caught a break, and Larry's family were given answers, no matter how tragic.
I believe that there's a dead body on our shoreline, right outside of our house.
On March 1st, police responded to the lake and quickly identified the body of 68-year-old father Larry Eisenberg. He was sent for an autopsy, and there police discovered the final nail in the coffin for Lori. While awaiting trial for her forgery and embezzlement charges, Lori was brought in for questioning.
Hi, Lori. Hello, Lori. How are you doing? I don't know if you remember me, Ken. I came to visit you when you turned yourself in at Whitney.
I think so.
Yeah, you remember Kurt. I talked at your house. How are you doing?
Good.
Have a seat. Relax. How are things going?
Actually, well.
Yeah? We were quite shocked to hear that they still had you in town.
Yeah.
I figured they'd be shipping you down to Jones and Dublin.
Yes, it's been weird that some people have gone and I'm still here, so.
Yeah. Which is okay for us. Because I didn't want to have to go. Hey, so we talked a long time ago, and we're towards the end of everything that has to do with our stuff, and we thought that we would stop over either a 1-part or 2-part thing and just chat with you and see if you'd be interested in hearing what we have to say and allow you to give your point on things. If you're agreeable to that, we can talk, but we leave it up to you.
Go ahead.
Okay. So because you're in custody,
All right. So before we start, this is about to be serious. Before we start actually hearing her interrogation, make sure you're hitting the like button for me. Truly appreciate it. It helps the channel. Or you can hit the down button. It still helps the channel. Okay. Number one, this is not a normal interrogation room. We have gone over what interrogation rooms look like. We understand that they do have different rooms for different reasons, right? What people need to realize that when you're speaking to these detectives or I would say these interrogators, right? They start to have a sense of your personality and character before the conversation even talk. They have trained 20 plus years about understanding body language and mannerisms, okay? So when they start to evaluate you, they'll realize whether or not what type of tactic or what type of room will give them the best results to get the answers that they want. If they need to put you in a cold room with metal all around, no windows, just a door, even how your sitting arrangement is, whether you're sitting looking at the door or you're sitting to the side of the door, whether or not there's one or two or three detectives in the room with you and they're pretty much surrounding you in a triangle form to let you know that you're not going to get around them or there is no escaping the situation. We have pinpointed all of that about the psychology that goes down in these interrogation rooms. My biggest thing with her is the reason why she's about to be opened up to have this conversation with them is because she felt that she had the best plausible answer to what happened to her husband, right? She made it seem like he had a heart problem or a heart issue or a medical issue. He fell over. She tried to get him before he fell over. She couldn't. She injured herself in that process. She ran around looking for him, found his cell phone within a couple of hours, and then called authorities in reference to the situation, right? This is what she believes. She feels that is very logical, plausible, and it does make sense. She was not expecting that his body, I'm sure, she wasn't expecting that his body was going to actually be found. Just like the video essay said, in cold water, the body is not going to deteriorate. It's not going to give off those disgusting smells from a dead body. The body is going to sit there for a while at the bottom of the lake. It is, especially in a very cold water situation. So I don't think she thought that the body was going to end up on someone's shore. My thing is that I'm thinking when they did a toxicology report on his body to find cause of death, I think, and like I said, this is me assuming, not knowing what the facts are. I'm thinking that they're going to find that he might have been poisoned or there was something in his system. It was something else in his system outside of him just having water in his lungs from drowning, right? I'm assuming that is the reason why they're having this conversation with her, to see if they're going to get a confession off of the information that they found from the toxicology, maybe even signs of him being in distress or fighting, right? Scars, scratches, DNA, with her DNA in it, you name it. All of that can be found off of the body, right? And then it doesn't help the fact that the body was in cold water, so most of that DNA is going to be preserved. It's preserved more in cold water than it is if it was, let's say, it was in a warm environment. So I'm thinking that that's the possibility, but she's not this was a good time for her to say, no, I don't want to have the conversation. I've been in here for a while. She's seen that she was a little upset that she seen so many people was able to leave and she was still there. And she's wondering why she's still being detained for this long period of time. I think that the best thing that she should have done is would have said, no, I don't want to speak to someone, or maybe I need to speak to a lawyer before I speak to you. I have already gave you guys my version of the story for what I remembered. And I don't want to incriminate myself. So I'm just going to bow out. I have nothing against you guys. I just want to make sure that I cover myself. But she's not doing that because if she is a sociopath or even a psychopath or have those traits, she felt that she had covered herself enough that she can willingly have the conversation with them and they're not going to get anything, right? Because everything makes sense. She lined it up perfectly. So, that's why I felt that right now we're about to see her make a fool of herself because now her ego is involved. And now she's going to have the conversation with him. And like I always tell you guys on this channel, and everybody who's been in my chat always know, cállate a boca. Do not talk to these investigators, these interrogators. Don't talk to them. They are not your friend. I don't care how charming, charismatic, friendly, understanding they seem, or empathetic or sympathetic they seem to you. They are not your friends. They are here to get to the truth. So if the truth will set you free, great. But if the truth will get your ass locked up, even greater for these guys. Okay. So I would suggest just, all right. Francis said interrogation is annoying. Oh, I guess. I mean, they're interesting to me though. They're interesting to a few people. It's interesting to watch them. I don't think it's interesting to be in them in that situation. Was she locked up? Yeah, she was being detained, Miss J. Hey, Next Level, how you doing? Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday. Miss J said get a lawyer. Yeah, I agree. King Kami said, yeah, 40 counts of forgery. Right, right. Right, definitely. Yes, and please hit the like button. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, Spitfire, how are you? It's good to see you. Happy Sunday. Hope everything is well with you. Hope everything's well. All right, thank you, Mion Lock. Let's go on. Let's see how this is gonna play out. This is where ego, ego before the fall, right?
No, we're not gonna per se be talking about the thing that you were convicted of. By the way, everything's final on that now?
Yes.
So the end result is
5 years.
5 years, of which do they have good time in the federal system?
Yes.
So you'll be
3 to 4.
if you behave, which I can't see you not behave.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're in custody still, and we're going to be talking to you about a case where there's potential charges. So
Correct.
you, or I think the last time you were probably interviewed was by Special Agent Gunnarsson. Did he read your Miranda then? Did he explain to you your rights and everything then?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, so basically, there's 5 basic points.
Lori's read her Miranda rights, and the detective wastes no time getting right down to business.
I'm just trying to go over the version that I have and ensure that it's correct. So, Mr. Romance, Larry, and you guys have been not feeling well for a while, and he came up with a romantic deal that, hey, why don't we go out on the lake and see the sunrise and then cruise up to Coeur d'Alene Lake Resort, or Coeur d'Alene Resort. Is that pretty much accurate? Okay. You guys headed to the lake early that morning, got on the boat, went out, you kind of fell asleep, and then you woke up and Larry was acting different, so to speak, saying something's wrong with the motor. And it kind of progressed from there, went up front, tried to work with the trolling motor, and then looked back with, I think it was.
Okay, so the detective just said something really, really like, it was good. It was really good. He said that it was her idea to go on the boat. and to do this this romantic getaway, on the boat, fishing, staring at the moon on water, and then doing a bread and breakfast the next following day. And then he also said that both of them, her and him, supposedly was both not feeling well prior to making that arrangement to go on this romantic boat ride or boat date. That is ringing a big bell, because if you were both sick prior to making, hey, let's go on this romantic boat ride, why would y'all go? Why would you go if you both was out of, not feeling well, I wouldn't go anywhere if I'm not feeling well. Shoot, like let me get a headache, right? Let me get a headache. I'm not going anywhere. Like I'll tell my friends in the quickness, I'm sorry, I love you, but I can't go, I'm not gonna do that to myself. So now, knowing that important information, that it was her decision to do it, it lays it on more thick why they will think that she is the main suspect. I mean, truly she's the only suspect, because there was only them two on the boat. But why they would think that, it could have something to do with, intentionally instead of a accident. So those two things was like, those are big. I know they don't seem like, big details, but they are big details, especially for the fact that she confirmed it when he said, hey, such and such and such, y'all was both wasn't feeling well, you decided that, let's go and take this romantic boat, and she said yes. That's her literally admitting that she was the one who planned the boat ride. That's a big, 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 big detail in this whole situation. And that leads into what I was talking about with intent, right? Because now you have to wonder, if y'all was both sick, why did y'all intended to still go on a boat ride if y'all was both sick? And then I also wanted to play how the detectives talk a little bit about the detective strategy right now, right? Even though he's going in and he's not necessarily going in hard, like we would normally see with someone who's already coming off aggressive, right? Or, a very combative. You tend to have to break that person's ego. So you'll put a big bad wolf, aka good cop, bad cop scenario for those individuals, right? In her situation, he easily was able to get her to be under Miranda. So this means that this is all on record. This is all on record. Everything that she said is being recorded and can be put into the courts by discovery. And the way how he did it, it was like, oh, well, did the last person you speak to, they did tell you how the Miranda rights go and everything like that. And this is the 5 steps of in cause of Miranda. And he made sure that anything that was said going forward before he started to, pretty much do a summary of the information that he knows about this situation with her and her husband, he made sure she was on Miranda rights. Now, for her, like I said, when ego's in the way, she's not even thinking about it in that way. She's not thinking, well, why, if I'm the victim? I'm the victim. I am the wife who has a missing husband that can be floating in the river right now, right? He can actually be, dead. I'm the victim. I'm the one who's traumatized to see that happen to my husband. I shouldn't even be here. You know what I'm saying? I told them everything I know and everything that happened. She's not even thinking in my head, well, why would they want me on a Miranda rights? Because clearly when they start to say, here's your Miranda rights, I'm going to let you know 100%. When they say this is your Miranda rights, you are no longer considered a witness or a victim. You're not. When they start to read you your Miranda rights, you have now become a person of interest. Also, another way of saying a suspect. Okay. And this is why they have to have you on record. I just wanted to put that out there. But let's go on.
Ash and flush in a couple of the descriptions, and then as though he had a stroke and then fell into the water. Is that fairly accurate as far as the course of events?
I don't think I thought he had a stroke. I didn't know what was wrong.
Right, I understand. But so something happened, and then he basically just, for lack of a better word, tipped over when he no longer. Pretty much. And then obviously you kept going around for a while trying to find him, and then ultimately you were able to locate the phone. One of the areas that was a little confusing is the different areas of which you had mentioned that you found the phone. Detective Jackson, who was a diver, he was a dive rescue dude. You found it when you were looking for, or when you're getting a blanket to get warm. So Detective Jackson, I believe it was, you found it within the blanket with the medical personnel. You mentioned you found it in the coat pocket. And then I believe with me, you found it on the dash. Which is the accurate one?
What everything I told you was accurate.
Okay. So with me, so it was on the dash. Okay. So going through everything and looking at everything, there are a lot of questions that come up. And obviously, I'm sure that you've been able to see the affidavit that was published over at Spokane. And I don't know how much, it was released by the paper. It'd be the one that was in the paper. Okay. So we have a lot of questions that we need to kind of dial in at the end of it so that when we present it to the prosecutor, they have an accurate reflection of exactly what it is that's there. So we know that obviously there were some things that went on with the coalition. And then we know that there's Larry's portion. And as I talked about before, you're always going to have those people who link the two and say that, that you killed Larry. So the end result is, quite frankly, did you kill Larry or didn't you kill Larry? And that's what we got to dial the facts in to support one way or another. Because in the end, our opinions don't matter at all. It's only what the facts reflect. Does that make sense? A lot of people think based on TV that we're the ones that put you in prison, and that's not reality. Reality is all we do is collect facts, present them to the prosecutor, same as Detective Bryant, or Dennis, excuse me, did with theirs, referred on the deal there. So with that being said, is there anything that you can think about that in our initial conversation that after all this time would be different? Okay. So then we come to the part where Larry is autopsied and they do toxicology on it. And there is a large quantity of diphenhydramine, aka Benadryl, aka, but really wouldn't be a cough medicine, it's pretty much a Benadryl situation. And we're trying to figure out what happened. Any ideas?
So what did I tell you? What did I tell you? There was a reason why. There was a reason why they wanted to have this conversation with her after getting the toxicology report. He had a large, unreasonable, not even countertop recommended dosage of Benadryl in his system before him supposedly falling over, right? Now, it makes even more sense when she stated to them in their initial conversation that they both were under the weather. If they had a little cough or something like that, now when you see Benadryl in his system, right? You're like, okay, well, she did say that they had a cough and there was a little irritability going on, and people take Benadryl, right? It's a over-the-counter medication. Now, knowing that it was a large amount, we know that if you don't take the proper dosage of Benadryl or if of any medication, what's going to happen? You will be poisoned, right? You tend to poison yourself. You tend to have to call 911 or the poison center in regards of that, right? So now they're going to ask her, well, why he had this large amount of Benadryl in his system? Did you notice that he was taking this amount? Were you giving him this amount? Now they're going to start asking questions like, was you putting it in his coffee? In fact, was you actually putting Benadryl, in his system prior to actually going on this romantic boat ride that you decided that we needed to go on to get away? See how things starts to paint a picture. You see how the interrogators starts to put the pieces together, because that is their job. Their job is to put all little evidence together, and then now, even from the timeline from what you give them or the timeline that they get from actual evidence, right, or DNA, will confirm whether or not if things are truthful or things don't make sense, and we need a little bit more information about things that actually took place, right? Because I'm thinking too that even in the toxicology report, they can tell how much that Benadryl was sitting in his system. They can tell whether or not if that was in his system with only a couple of hours, or if the Benadryl was in his system for days, right? This is what happens, folks. This is why we need to learn and understand these things, and we need to know. This is why I also said in the beginning that the best thing that this lady could have done is keep her mouth closed and not talk to these individuals, because you are not smarter than them. You're not figuring things out like some, mad scientists or anything like that. You're not doing it, okay? They have been in this profession for 25 plus years. They study humans. They study behavior. They study psychology. This is what they do. But let's go on. Let's hear what else they have to say. Let's see what she has to say in reference of them breaking it down, saying, hey, listen, after looking at the toxicology report, we seen that he was in, he had such and such in his system that would have caused him to die, regardless if he fell over the boat or not, if he didn't get medical attention at a certain time. So now we need to know if it was you, or if it was some form of accidental overdosing that your husband did to himself.
The toxicology report came back with evidence that he had 7,100 nanograms per liter of diphenhydramine in his blood. A therapeutic level is anywhere between 100 to 1,000 nanograms per liter. The dose that he had been given was lethal. On the boat, in Lori's purse, police had actually discovered an empty bottle of allergy medicine containing diphenhydramine and an empty bottle of juice, which they believe was used to hide the taste of the crushed up pills. Evidence from the autopsy also proved that when Larry was put into the water, he was already dead. In other words, he had overdosed on the boat and then been rolled into the water by the only person with him, his wife of 15 years.
So the morning that you guys went down to the boat ramp, can you kind of recall?
What I tell you? I am surgical with this crap. What did I tell you? That they can tell and they know. And the funny thing about it is, even before they even spoke to her, they knew. They knew. They had enough evidence that they could have convicted her right there on the spot, right? But it's always better to seal the deal if you're a interrogator or you're working for the state or the prosecutor. A confession seals the deal. Let them think about that or worry about that back in on parole board and and petition board to say, hey, listen, everything I said was I was under distress, whatever not. But well, yeah, you can't even really say that because you signed a Miranda rights saying that you wasn't under distress for saying anything. You see how they make sure they cover their tails? Pay attention. I'm trying to tell y'all something. Let's go on.
Just kind of walk me through your trip down there. My understanding is that you left around 5 o'clock-ish.
I think I'm not going to change anything from this statement.
Okay. Lori, there's a lot of things within your phone records. There's a lot of things within your Facebook records. that would lead one to believe that it's something other than what it is. And
Laurie, can I ask you a question? Going on your computer searches, you went to Florida. You've got searches about depth charts, whether you can vote on Bayview at night. There's a lot of stuff there. Can you explain that?
I think if you're going to start asking me questions like that, I should have my attorney here.
Good.
What? Sorry, Miss Joanne. I'm about to cuss. I'm sorry. Okay, forgive me. I love you. What the fudge? See, look, I'm getting better, Miss Joanne. I'm getting better, right? What the fuck, yo? Like, seriously. Please, individuals, I don't want nobody committing crimes, okay? Don't commit crimes. I'm never promoting people to commit crimes. But if you're going to do it anyway, because I have no say-so and nobody can stop you for committing a crime, stop fucking logging your shit on search engines and Facebook and shit like that and acting like they cannot get access to it and that is not going to paint a picture. If before you're going on a boat trip, you're talking about diving in the middle of the night and stuff like that, but then it's, you're not diving, right? You're talking about can a person live or stay alive in negative what I don't know, negative 30 or 10 degrees water and things of that sort, right? When you start making those crazy searches in your search engine, it does paint a picture. It does tell a tale. And it does look suspicious when you do it prior to going somewhere. Now, this is not to say that you're not supposed to research and learn and explore, especially if you're doing something that you've never done before. I'm not saying that. Please do that, right? But when you're doing criminal stuff and you're asking criminal questions to a search engine, Houston, we have a big fucking problem. We have a big problem. Why are you doing that? Why? And this is why I said ego before the fall. This is exactly why I stated that. Because that is all ego. Right now, she's in the boat that she's in right now due to pure ego. She didn't clean her search engine. She didn't clear the cache, right? And we know that even within that, most of these machines are connected to a cloud network that still can be pulled, right? But she didn't even do that. Then with the Benadryl, she left the empty bottle of Benadryl in her purse. Like, if you're gonna throw your doggone husband over the boat after he clocks out, I would think that you would get rid of the evidence too. Throw that in the water. You didn't even just think to throw that in the water. You kept it in your purse and it's a whole empty bottle, right? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I have to sum it up as just an ego thing, right? Because it can't be them not trying to be strategic or them not trying to be sneaky, because they are doing it. That's why they even planned out the things that they do. So I have to really believe that when they're messy in this way, it's because it's an ego thing. It has to be. Let's see. RMB Michelle said, do you mean under duress? They can claim they were under duress, not under stress. Well, I mean, they can be under stress too, right? Let's go on.
And that's what we're going to be doing, because that's what we need to conclude the case. So do you have a retained attorney right now? Okay. So in essence, unless you can think that's basically what we need to know. We need to know the end result. And the idea is to give you a chance to to explain some of these facts before we present to the prosecutor.
I don't think we can say things that I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know. Of things that have come up, I don't know where people are coming up with these things. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that's why we're here talking to you.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to find out.
And because, honestly, I've lost a lot of trust. Some of the things that they've said, I know are not true. I wish I could just talk to you.
Some of the things you said.
That they've been in the paper, this supposedly an anonymous source said or something, and I wish I could talk to you because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
So let us not ask questions. Let us explain so that you're aware, so that you'll be fully apprised. You'll at least have something to be able to do. So we know that obviously prior to the 24th, that there was activities going on in the coalition. We know that on the 24th in the morning that you were advised that you would be suspended based on that stuff, and you clearly offered to assist them and in what they needed to do. We know that on the 25th, after seeing other things, that the board decided that it was best to let you go, and that you were advised on the 26th by paper. We know on the 26th that you were contacted, which the phone call is relatively short, and you called them
Hi,
right back.
Sophie. Yes, I think this one is the same case, possibly. A old case. Yes. Shout out to you and happy Sunday.
Because I want to be that person to tell them. That was on the 26th. We also know on the 26th that you made, or 25th or 26th, that you made airline reservations to go to Florida. Based on what the president is, you couldn't meet with them because these reservations and so forth had been made for a long time, and it was something that was a planned trip. However, in your emails to your daughter, you put the spoiler alert, let them know that you're going to Florida, and then Larry, and talking to Mike, said, yeah, well, we changed our plans, we're not going south, we're going to be going to Florida. That's on the 26th. We know that you guys left on the 28th, but on the 27th, you're researching in your on your phone regarding and on behalf of you see this is just the end result.
So that is a big thing too. She told the people that the job that let her go, she made up a whole setup meeting arrangement with them in regards of her trying to pay them back, right? She told them on the 26th. Then she told them that she couldn't go. But you emailed your daughter and you told your daughter that you're going to Florida. Then on the 27th, you're looking up all those kind of crazy things on the search engine, and then you and your husband left on the 28th. That is quite odd, because if you know that you had a deadline and they told you the 26th, why would you cancel the deadline and tell them, hey, no, I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm going to Florida? Why would you do that? Like, what you're being charged for is serious, right? You forging documents, and you're stealing $500,000. You're lucky that you're even still out on the streets. There's people who have been locked up for far less. We have seen people in county for $20, for stealing $20 or $50. You literally stole almost $500,000. And they literally said, okay, we're going to terminate you. And you said that you're going to make a payment with us, meet up with us, this arrangement. We can start making installments, how this is going to happen, right? And then you said, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. We're going down south. Ciao. I can't believe it.
7, you're researching drowning articles on the Florida Gulf, Cape Canaveral drownings, boating accidents, and so forth. And then on the 28th, you had left to go south. During your time frame in the first couple of days that we're down there, you literally have hundreds of searches that relate to, maybe not hundreds, but a lot, that relate to boat rentals, that relate to depths of waters, that relate to fishing, relate to various aspects of the water thereof, and distances to deep water, and so forth. When you guys come back, all of which during the first phase that you got down there, we noted that before that time there were very few searches regarding anything to do with the water. When you came back on the 8th, pardon me, on the 8th or 9th, you had commented that Larry had a flu bug to Jessica and then to a couple other people that you guys weren't feeling good. However, his conversation with the doctor reflected, yeah, on the trip, I feel like I might have had some type of bug, but then nothing else relates any illness whatsoever.
Bama, how are you, darling? How are you? It's good to see you. Good to see you, sir. I hope everything is well with you. Hope everything is well. Shout out to you. Happy Sunday, Bama. It's good to see you, dear. Good to see you. Yeah, so this is a how can I put this? This is a little disturbing, right? The stuff that she was researching, drowning and stuff like that. And you know what's so bad? I'm gonna go come on camera for this. I'm sorry, guys. I like to drink some water and I don't want to drink on camera. You know what's so bad? Because a lot of her searches so far, outside of other ones that we don't know, is not bad, right? Like you should, if you're going to a specific place, you should want to know, have there been any deaths there, right? What do you need to worry about? Is there strong currents? Are there wild animals? You know, are there certain type of plants that are poisonous or irritation? What should I pack? Like the things that she was researching, if you look at it as an individual situation, they're not bad. Those are things that people who are who are careful, and they're curious, and they want to make sure that they have a fun time, but they're also safety conscious. They would do those type of researches. The problem is that makes it bad is because she did that prior to leaving, right? Normally, when I, like, for example, when I went to a particular part of Hawaii, and I wanted to know, do I need to worry about a active volcano at this time, right? Like I started to research the news to say, hey, did they have signs of this volcano being active? How's the air quality? Is there anything going on with the water? Are sharks been around recently? Something do I have to worry about? Those are the things that I was researching before going down to Hawaii, so I could prepare myself to be in an environment that I am normally not accustomed to, like the regular people who are there. So it's not bad to research, but even when I did that research, I did that maybe a week prior to me actually leaving. I got all the information I needed to do. I looked and researched what were, kits and stuff that people tend to bring with them when they go there, how long they're going there, where do I need to go, for medical emergencies, you name it. I just researched those things, and I did it a week before. Now, I'm not saying that she should be nailed to the cross because she did it the day before, but it's the manner of the incident that makes it very, suspicious, right? It makes it very suspicious. She was she was asking about, diving in the deep end. Where's the deepest part of this particular location? Can things survive in this degree type of cold water? Those things is like, you start raising red flags, especially if your husband supposedly died from falling over the boat. And then for them to even know that by doing the autopsy, they found out that he was already dead prior to even getting in the water, right? So the lungs, like I told you before, the lungs didn't kill him. Having water in his lungs did not kill him. It was the Benadryl that killed him, right? And how long he had the Benadryl in his system. So, this is what, like I said, this is what I would call sloppy. This is what I would call a sloppy, criminal activity. You wasn't really focusing on, hey, if I do this, how am I going to explain this away? Even when she was talking to the detectives, what she said, oh, I heard about the things that people were saying about me in the news and stuff like that. Well, ma'am, it seems quite suspicious. If your husband was fine, there was nothing wrong with him, and then now all of a sudden you're talking about you're sick, but who in their right mind go on a romantic boat ride while they're sick? We tend to hear people who go on vacation to do little weekend trips getting sick while on vacation, right? Whether it's from food, them not being accustomed to the water, you name it. That's how it usually happens. Like, you coming from vacation or you're in the middle of vacation and then you get sick. You're saying that y'all was sick and y'all still decided to take y'all happy asses on the motherfucking boat while y'all sick. And then you don't even know where you are per se. You don't really know where you are, but then you did all this research on your search engine to know where you are, but that's not what you told the first responders. You told the first responders you didn't know. You don't know where you were, what location it was. You was going around in circles for an hour. I thought you were supposed to know that. But that's just me. That's just me. Sophie says she claims she had done it all in the name of motherly love. She has stolen a bunch of money, then killed her husband for the life insurance, and using your family you were leaving outside your means. I agree, Sophie. I definitely agree. Absolutely. Rebel said he'd been watching Dateline and Popo got a warrant. Look up that person phone for that warrant for their phone. Okay. All right. You watching Dateline. I like that, Bama. Sophie said, but then she was careless in leaving a whole bottle of Benadryl in her purse. Or the car can't, no, you were right. It was the purse. Absolutely, Sophie. You were definitely right about that. Yep. Okay, he said, look up doctor in Hawaii. Tried it. Okay. Thank you, Bama. I appreciate that. I'm gonna put that on my my trusty notebook so we can review that case. Thank you. Oh, you said I keep up with resentment cases in my court TV is cool. TV is really cool. I like that too. And y'all need to get back to watching 60 what is it, 60 seconds? Yes, watching 60 seconds or 60 minutes. I want one of those shows. That one, it really gives you very current, up-to-date, and factual information. That is one of the best places to get information that you're looking for is 60 seconds, I think. Yeah. Let's go on.
And talking to the doctor and talking to your neighbors, I don't know, because a neighbor's a neighbor, you never know if they're friends or foes. She again said, yeah, if there really had anything wrong with him, he would have come up and said, hey, what do I do?
Thank you, Miss Jay. Shout out to No Cat Freezy, bro.
Going forward just a little bit. The 11th, there was some checking into, why are people dying of flu. We started checking depths of waters in Lake Ponderay, can't be on the lake at night. Distance to Whiskey Rock, which is the deepest part of the lake there. And then that's followed up by you actually being, or your phone being in Ponderay, or more specifically in Bayview on the morning of the 12th, between 2 and about 4 o'clock, and being there for a significant
That's a good one too, Bama.
Now, we're going to break something down a little bit. Lori was fired from her job for embezzlement on January 26, 2018.
So before we break this down, I just want to mention the little information that he just shared with us before the video essays get into what he's about to say. Excuse me, Miss Joanne, I'm about to curse again. I love you. I love you. I love you. Bitch, you was on your phone while you was on that boat. You was on your phone looking up that same information on your phone, but then you told them the reason why you couldn't call 911 within, I don't know, a minute or so. What happened to your phone? And then on top of that, you didn't even call them when you finally decided to call them 2 hours later. You didn't even call them from your phone. You called them from his phone. Chick, what? What are you doing? Like, listen, your phones are trackers, ladies and gentlemen. Your phones are trackers. The only time they can't track you from your phone is when you turn it off. But what they can do as detectives, they can pin where your phone was to paint that trail, to paint the timeline. Your phones are trackers. Please stop doing that. Stop it. And how are you going to be that dumb? How are you going to be that dumb and be on your phone while you're out there? And then now when they ask you, well, why are we getting a call 2 hours later? Oh, I was finding him. I was trying to search for him and everything like that. Okay, then man, why you didn't call from your phone? Oh, I don't know, but I found his phone and I called from it. Okay. Whatever you see. Oh, it's no problem, bro. No problem. I didn't even see you. Shout out to you. You must be, you was on the other stream because I didn't even see you. It's good to see you, bro. It's good to see you. Shout out to Freezy. I truly appreciate you. Everyone, please go to Freezy channel. He has a great channel. My bro, I support, you know what I'm saying? And if I support, you know that it's good. Like I'm telling you, right? He talks about a whole bunch of good topics. And at the end of every conversation that he has over there, he leads us off with a benediction, right? From the good book. So if you like things of that, please check out No Captivity with Freezy. I truly appreciate you, bro, for stopping by. And thank you so much for shouting out and congratulating me on your live stream yesterday, bro. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So much. Bama said, police can find out more about that. You're doing if you're shady bushy ass shit. Right. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Miss J. I truly appreciate you. Thank you so much, Miss J, for dropping that down. Let's go on.
The very next day, she and Larry went to Florida on a planned vacation, where Lori made several incriminating searches relating to drowning deaths off the coast, where they went fishing. During the trip, Larry reportedly fell incredibly ill. Detectives believe that this was the result of a failed attempt at murder, likely due to Lori administering too little medication. When the couple returned to Idaho, however, she decided to change tactics.
Oh, thank you so
Surprisingly,
much, Freezy.
the boat ride was Larry's idea. He wanted to take Lori out on a sunrise cruise to show that he appreciated her. In response, she killed him.
And then on the morning of the 13th, we know that you guys were down at the boat launch. We know that you left your house and you at least your phone hits the tower right at Micah about 6-ish, 6:30-ish. So we know that you were there then. And then we know that you were at the boat ramp at 6:40 because that's when the picture was taken. And then the text message is sent out. Based on a very short clip, of which has been, I mean, we're talking a second, maybe second and a half of a male voice. We assume that Larry was alive at that point. However, we know that between 6:40 and 10 o'clock, if he was alive at that point, that something happened and that he fell in the water. The autopsy did not divulge anything that was stroke related. And I would, as far as a factual point, I would refer that to the actual doctors. I'm saying what they mentioned to me, or heart related, but the contributing factors were a lethal dose of basically diphenhydramine, which it could be better or
Thank you so much, bro. Truly appreciate you with the super chat for $20. Thank you so much, bro. Truly appreciate it.
The 13th at 6:40. We know that Larry was deceased. I think we can relatively assume that by 10:30. I think it's about 10:23 actually is when you make the call. We know that between those times that there were lethal levels of diphenhydramine in the system. Have you ever taken Benadryl before?
Benadryl? Yes.
Okay. How many do you take when you take it? Two? Does it make you kind of, it does make two. That's not seeing that. So this, in a rough scenario based on Dr. King, who's the coroner, and it's only an estimate, he said that would have to be a fairly healthy amount of diphenhydramine to make him that way. In essence, whatever got to his system, if he was alive at 6:40 and he fell overboard, let's say that it was anywhere between a half an hour to an hour before you would call. So let's even do that, 6:40 to, oh, math brother, so 9 o'clock. Yeah. 6:40 to 8 o'clock. Someplace in that time frame, Larry would have had to consume a large amount of diphenhydramine. And as you know from taking it yourself, diphenhydramine, depending on who you are and how much you take, acts pretty quick. For me, I have to take it all the time because I have allergies, and I would say if I take two, a half an hour, I'm pretty much loopy. You know, I don't know what it is with you. So it would act fairly quickly, and it would be, for all intents and purposes, based on the research that I have and the doctors that I spoke to, would make them borderline unfunctional. So those are kind of the facts that are there. Those are the things that you need to think about. Lori, for all intents and purposes, it looks like you might have had something to do with Larry's death. And I want to know anything that you can provide that would help explain these things away. Because the facts that will go to the prosecutor are the very facts that I presented to you. And those facts.
So this is the time when I stop and I tell you the tactic of the detective. As of right now, he is cooking, right? He's cooking her with evidence. He's cooking her where things doesn't seem right. They also mentioned that the first time they interview her, her story has changed at least 3 times in regards of how everything happened. And then now the big whammer with the toxicology report, and then stating that, you know, he had that in his system at a certain period of time, and within like 30 minutes of having all that in his system, he collapsed or he was dead, and then his body went over into the water. And then the whole process of, you know, you saying that you were searching for him for an hour, 2 hours before making the call in, and you did it on his cell phone. Right now, he's priming her. He's priming her because for 2 reasons, right? And I'm going to break it down. The prime is he's about to set up a opening for her to, quote unquote, come clean entirely, or to see if she'll take the bait and frame it as she was scared once he got really sick and he was non-responsive, and that was the reason why she threw his body over the boat per se, and made up this whole thing that he just had a medical episode without any involvement from her. But she truly didn't mean to do it, but he was already dead and she got scared that she would be blamed for it. That's the bait that they're trying to get her. The reason why is if they act like they're sympathetic to her about her being scared that she was sick, you know, poisoning him, and it was a failed attempt because she probably tried to poison him maybe days prior, right? Because they were sick, right? They were sick. She was and it didn't work. The last resort that she had was, you know, to take him out of the boat and just try to, you know, get rid of him at this time. If she takes the bait of, I was scared. Yes, I did try to do that, and I didn't want no one to blame me, so I got rid of his body out of fear, and I just said that he fell over because everybody was going to blame me due to the fact that they probably they know about the case that I have for embezzlement, right? If she takes that as, that's my confession, she's still going to get time anyway, right? This is what suspects in them don't realize. When they give you that little opening to say, hey, maybe you was afraid, or maybe you was a victim, or maybe, this and that, that's the ego. We call it the ego up approach, right? They play on your ego because they know that you're ego based. So they'll play on your ego and tell you the things that you want to hear, or give you the empathetic ear, right? And that will make you remove your guard down, thinking that you have a friend in that damn room with you, right? And if you do take the bait, because we have seen on this channel, plenty of people have taken the bait when they threw it out there. They threw out a narrative. Oh, did it go like this? And you just need to tell us the truth, and and just tell the truth. If it was like this, if this what happened, this is your last chance to do it. You're going to still get a charge anyway, right? You're going to still get a charge. But now guess what? They got a confession. So she might say, oh yeah, I confessed that I threw his body over the boat when he was unconscious, but I didn't kill him. I just got scared that I was the only one with him and everybody was going to blame me, and they're going to link it to the fact of my financial past, right? You still going to get charged for throwing a body over the boat, right? You still going to get something, even if that end up becoming true. You're still going to get something because you just violated a corpse, which has a charge of its own. And then if they pinpoint now, like, oh, so you were making him sick. Let's say she says that, oh yeah, I was giving him Benadryl and all the stuff like that. Maybe I gave him too much, whatever. I really didn't, mean to, but they still to deal with that, her not using that excuse that it was an accident for the amount of dosage he had in his system, because they asked her how much do she take, and she says she takes the required amount. So there should be no reason why your husband is taking an overdose amount. If y'all both reside in the same home, most of the time you're cooking his food, or or serving him, right? And it's just, normally with couples and stuff like that, when it comes down to medication and stuff like that, they usually take care of each other. Like, hey, listen, follow the prescription. The prescription say you need to take 1 a day, 2 a day. And if the person is not good taking pills or keeping track with when they supposed to take their medicine again, it's usually the better half who's good with that will take leadership and ownership of it to make sure that their significant other takes their medicine at the proper time. That's just natural things. So it doesn't make sense that if you even saw that your husband was taking a overdose amount of Benadryl, why you did not stop it? Why did you not say, whoa, wait a minute, hold on, I'm only taking this. If the Benadryl's not working, babe, I think you need to go to the doctor, because everybody should know, especially at their grown age, if the over-counter is not working and you tried that and then rest didn't help you either, maybe it's time to go see somebody. That's just what normal people do. So those things are, those things is going to play out in court for her, right? And it's not going to be in her benefit. It's not going to be in her benefit. Like I said before, she's cooked. She should have had just remained quiet the whole entire time. Even though they did more of the talking than her, the fact that she was even shaking her head and agreeing to certain things and stuff like that, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for her. But right now, she's at the bait mountain. This is what they're doing. They're baiting her right now to see if she's going to take this other option. If she takes this other option and she believes that this story is more plausible than the one that she gave, that will be beneficial to her, then they know that they got her. They know that they got her. All right, let's see. All right, let's go on.
Facts are supported by, well, they pretty much are a timeline off your phone, Facebook stuff, emails that might have been there, other people's text messages that were there, and timelines. And I guess the big thing for me is I look at you and I look at his relationship, your relationship, and everybody that I talk to talks like how much of a picture-perfect relationship you guys have.
How much you guys love each other.
Because I ask everybody, do you think that Lori would be capable of harming Larry? Very few people, in fact, and kind of on one hand, thought that you would be capable of doing it. And those people, I would say half of them, I'd have to write them off because they're letting some other stuff talk. The one that was the most interesting to me was who said, I don't think she could, and that if she did, I would have to almost keep in my mind, unless I knew for sure, that it was like a mercy killing. Like, if it indeed happened, she did not want Larry to know what had happened, and for the disagreement, or not the disagreement, but the disappointment that he would have faced and whatever reaction was going to be there.
Larry and Lori reportedly did have a happy relationship, for the most part, but in the months leading up to Larry's death, the two had begun arguing about finances. Lori had a habit of handing over any money the couple had to her kids from a previous marriage, even driving herself and Larry into debt to do so. And that's without the embezzlement even being factored in. It seems that Larry had no idea Lori had embezzled $500,000 from her business. To this day, law enforcement's working theory is that Lori killed Larry in an attempt to stop him from finding out, and to potentially soften the charges she was facing by garnering sympathy from the judge or jury over the death of her husband.
These are the things that we found. I have an action, and I wish it's the one thing I didn't bring with me, and that is the actual timeline of everything that's there. If you want to meet with your attorney, that would be something that I would bring and show. Because in lieu of you speaking to us, in lieu of us finding out these answers, we have to submit this as is. We have to submit it with what is there. And what is there, Lori, points to a concern of Larry finding out, and in a lack of a better word, taking care of that problem before he did. I mean, I don't want to be tedious, like.
Hey Jay, dear, it's good to see you. Happy Sunday. No, they weren't living good. Those were for their medical bills.
Yeah, it's like perfect. And this should be something for you to be thankful for. You guys were you made people sick the way you like each other.
Except for the last 6 months or so, people said.
Yeah, there was just a difference in the last 6 months.
People noticed the difference.
Which everybody's relationships go through problems. So Lori, that is kind of it in a long shot. I'm not going to ask you any further questions because you're related that you want to talk to your lawyer. I will allow, if you have a question regarding the timeline or anything that I mentioned that you would like repeated, I'll be happy to do that for you. Do you have any questions regarding the timeline? No. Any questions outside of that? How would you like to talk to us with your attorney present? Unfortunately, because we have to record you for him. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Ultimately, Lori was sentenced to 5 years in prison for her embezzlement scheme, during which she was charged with Larry's murder. In 2021, she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder, stating that the drink had been intended for herself to take her own life. The court didn't buy it, and in May of 2021, She was sentenced to life in prison with a possibility of parole after 30 years. Our thoughts are with Larry's children, friends, and family, who were all deeply affected by the loss of a kind man taken far, far too soon. Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with
So she tried to play it off at the end. I'm glad that she got life in prison. I'm glad that the courts did not buy it, right? She did try to get sympathy, and she tried to make sure that her husband didn't find out about her embezzlement of her company, because that was on his name as well. They were legally married. So eventually he would have to find out that he owed the court $500,000, right? So she just had to, it was literally all about protecting herself, really. I really don't see her, protecting that much of the kids of a past relationship. If it's medical expenses, I can understand, but even with that, you would just think like, hey, that's your husband, right? You and y'all had a good relationship. For most of the time you had a good relationship. You couldn't talk to him about in regards of your children from a prior relationship's medical expenses, and that you feel responsible for it and you wanted to do as much as possible. That was a conversation that y'all supposed to have as a married couple. The fact that you just started, forging 40 times, you did forgery 40 times, you stole that money, then you was let go by the board, and then they was even trying to work with you. They tried to set up an arrangement with you. Even if it would have took you 40 years to pay off that money, right? Because I don't know, obviously her financial situation wasn't well, right? And that's pretty much 90% of our country. So, but even if it would have took you 40 years to pay off that money, right, in installments and stuff, isn't that better than your freedom being taken away from you? Isn't that better than you having to off up the love of your life? You literally drugged him with Benadryl. And then for her to say, oh, it was accidental. It was really meant for me. I wanted to take my life, and then he ended up drinking it. Bitch, bye. Okay? Like, go on, all right? Because if you really wanted to end your life, you could have had end your life in many different situations, and that don't have anything to do with your husband. You could have went on that romantic boat ride by your damn self and did the deed if that was the case. So I'm glad that they didn't buy it. Serve her right, and rest in peace to the man. He didn't know, what he was laying next to, right? He didn't know that a woman who got that desperate would do such a thing. And I feel bad for his family too, because now they have to see, like, she really just did it for herself. It's not because he was a bad husband. It's not because he was abusive or anything of that sort. None of that, right? It was because she messed up and she was trying to cover her tracks, and she decided to make him a casualty. Very sad. Very, very, very sad story. All right. All right, guys. I have another case for you, good folks. I have another case for you. So again, please, let's get the likes up. I truly appreciate it. It helps the channel. Or you can hit the down button. It still helps the channel. Please share this out to anyone who likes this immersive conversation that we have over here, dissecting these cases. And if you have any cases of your own, just like my good brother Bama did, go ahead and put it in the comment section, or you can wait after the live stream and put it in the comment section. I read all my comments, guys. I love the comments. When you do respond back to me, I always heart them and everything. And I will take those cases and put it in my trusty case book. I have a whole list that I'm trying to go down where we could talk about this on this channel. I just don't be having that much time because I'm a workaholic and I work all the time. So when I really do have free time, I do try to come out here and and do a live stream and get these cases out. So my problem child, Mr. Center of the World, you can stop leaving me messages and talk about, I ain't trying to rush you though, but I need you to review this case. I promise, sir, I will get to your case. I really will. I really will. Trust me. Oh, Jay said, how much Benadryl do you have to take to OD? Yes, it was a lot. Super, super, super a lot, right? It was almost 7 times over the recommended dose, Jay. Second time. Okay, so the next following case that I have for you good folks is about another killer wife, right? We're doing killer wives today, right? Shout out to that. So we have another killer wife who has no idea the cops know about her dirty little secret. First time seeing it, we're going to review it together. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you good folks. All right. And here we go.
It's 7:26 p.m., a couple of hours before dark on Wednesday, June the 23rd, 2021, when deputies from a local sheriff's office were dispatched to a 911 call reporting an accidental shooting. They arrive at 3410 Tommy Lee Cook Road just outside of Newman, the county seat. It's a nice place, set back and shielded from the road by a dense wooded area. The nice home features a detached multi-bay garage and workshop, as well as a large swimming pool. It is a private sanctuary for a successful couple in their late 40s and early 50s. But on this night, something has broken loose, and deputies are walking in on a scene that doesn't make sense right off the bat.
I didn't either. Something about gun went off. Sheriff's office!
Sheriff's office!
We're here.
We're in the master bedroom.
All right.
Okay, the officer's here.
18291, I need EMS 1018.
Oh God. Please don't hurry. He needs a chest tube.
Negative.
He needs a chest tube in his left lung.
Inside the home, they find Cheryl and Luke Coe, and they are in a desperate strait. Luke is naked on the floor, while Cheryl, his wife, is holding a towel to a bullet wound in the man's side. As deputies move in to lend assistance, EMTs and an ambulance arrive moments later.
The bullet's lodged in his lung.
Give me a chest seal.
He's having a hard time breathing already.
Tell me your ears.
It didn't go through and through. It just went in. Huh? 9mm. It's over there.
I ain't worried about it. I just want to know what size hole.
Yep.
I don't roll over. All right, ma'am. This way, ma'am.
Luke is in bad shape, and he has lost a lot of blood. A 9mm bullet has pierced his left lung and lodged into his chest, dumping all of its energy into his body cavity, causing what would prove to be a fatal injury. Luke would struggle to sit up a couple of times in a desperate attempt to catch his breath before his lifeblood would pour out on the floor of the home's master bedroom. He would die without ever leaving that room. Outside the bedroom, his wife would try to explain to the law enforcement officers what had happened.
We're going to go in here and sit down, okay? Yep.
Oh, God.
We're going to go in here and sit down, okay? Hey, buddy. Hey.
Please. Please, God. Please.
Come out here, okay? Listen. You can do me a favor? You can just have a seat right here for me. Have a seat. Easy, good hands, man. All right, ma'am, can you tell me what happened?
He was out in the shop. He'd been in the shop since I got home.
Okay.
I had 5 Angry Orchards sitting out on the back porch by myself.
Okay.
I went to bed. I took my medicine before I went to bed. He came in yelling, and I grabbed the gun off from the nightstand and started shooting because I was scared.
You were scared of him?
No, I didn't know who it was.
Okay.
I didn't know who had come in. I just knew somebody had come in the house yelling,
Come
"We
in,
leave
sure.
our doors open." Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, oh.
Come on, we're going to walk right out here, okay? Come on. We're going to walk right out here. All right. This seat right here, okay? You want to have a seat right there.
The deputies take Cheryl outside and away from the bedroom. Once at the driveway, she collapses and sits down, braced up against the wheel of her husband's truck in the driveway.
What's going on? What's he?
No clue, ma'am.
Oh, God, please. Oh, God, please help me.
Ma'am, your guess is as good as mine.
Please. I'm just like, what?
Ma'am, look at me. I've been out here with you this whole time, right? Okay, so let them do their job.
He's my whole world.
Say it again.
I said he's my whole world. Why are they all out here?
I'm here with you. Hold on. Hey.
Come in with me.
No.
So I'm glad that we was able to get some body cam footage in this case. I'm just gonna start it off from the start. Obviously, when they first showed up, there was no false entry, right? There was no outsider entry. Nothing was in shambles. That was the first thing that I saw. The house was pretty much decent, normal wear and tear of individuals living in the house. She was on scene trying to render aid, so that is a plus. That is definitely a plus, right? As many videos and cases that we have reviewed on this channel, people never render aid, like, and that was usually like a tattletale sign to detectives and police officers on the scene that why wouldn't you render aid to someone that you didn't intentionally mean to harm, right? The problem is, and I'll say from my opinion, is the fact that why was she drinking those beers or those apple orchard things? Why was you drinking 4 of them or consuming 4 of them midday like that? Like that's very concerning. Maybe she was upset. We don't know if she does that all the time. There are people who like to drink like that, especially if they're retired or whatever. I was just in Florida, right? I was just in Florida, second home, right? And even the neighbors are out there. Like we had neighbors who was literally drinking from early in the morning all the way until 12 midnight, right? They were outside just drinking all day, and it was like around 80 degrees. So sometimes that's what people do. Some people do that, right? My only issue with everything is where and how the husband got shot. That's my biggest issue, because you said that someone came in the house yelling. This is your husband. You mean to tell me you don't know your husband's voice? You mean to tell me you have never heard your husband raise his voice? You mean to tell me that you were so intoxicated that you was able to hear that someone came in your house, but you couldn't identify the person that came in your house? I call bull crap on that. Okay? I really do. I call bull crap on that. You living with a person for a certain amount of time, you start to know the ins and out of that individual. You get so good, you start to know their walk patterns, right? If they stomp or they step a certain type of way. Oh, I know that's Brad coming. I know that's my mom coming. I know that's my brother coming. You start to even realize who's coming in the house by even turning the doorknob or opening up the door or turning the key. We get surgical with it, how we start to examine and identify our loved ones and know their mannerisms, their patterns, and their behaviors. That's what we do because we're humans, right? And we're social beings. So eventually when we form relationships, we tend to pick up on those little, subliminal things. So for her to say that she was so intoxicated that she did not recognize that was her husband entering the house, but you weren't intoxicated enough to the point where you did not hear someone come in your house, I'm going to have to call bull crap on that. And the way how he was shot, he was shot literally center mass, like almost center mass, right? Like literally. So it's giving me to believe that it was a direct, like face to face, just shoot him, right? He didn't get shoot in the back. The entryway was not from his back. It was literally in front. So that means that you faced him and you shot him. All right. And then the bullet didn't even go through. The bullet stayed around, start cutting up everything in his body and stuff like that. And that's why you start bleeding like crazy. But those are the few things I wanted to point out so far. So let's get back into it.
No, we can't go in. We can't go in. We cannot go in. We can't go in, okay?
Oh, God, please!
Why don't you just have a seat over here? Just have a seat.
Oh, please! Why are they all out here?
No.
Why are they all out here? Where is he?
You want a chair?
No! I just want to know what's going on with my husband!
I think you already know what's going on.
No, I don't!
There's an admission that alcohol might have fueled the incident, perhaps coupled with medication she'd been taking. Could she have mistaken her husband for an intruder? It's still daylight on this June evening, and officers on the scene would include in their reports that even though the bedroom did have blackout curtains for the windows, those curtains hadn't been drawn and the room was well lit with natural light and from the television that was on but muted in the room. And why was Luke naked? There were more questions than answers at this point, and what they had wasn't adding up.
So she had about 5 or 6.
That's another important factor, because it can't be Luke randomly walking in your house and he's butt naked. That means that, okay, look, there's people that go in a house and they start stripping off, right? They start stripping shit off. Like they strip all their street clothes off. They just want to jump in the shower real quick, right? I'm one of them, right? It is what it is, right? So he was in the house. I'm thinking he's naked because he took a shower. Now that leads me to believe again that you decided to shoot him, right? You decided to shoot him because if you let that man take a shower and he has a towel on him and you shoot him, like, and now knowing that the blackout shades were apart, they weren't together. It was bright and very lit in the room. Y'all even had a TV on and you muted the TV. So it's not like you didn't see who you saw, but you still shot anyway. So this is not some random person just running in your house and you like, oh my God, what's that noise? And you run and you meet them at the front door and then you start shooting or whatever not, and you didn't know. It wasn't that situation. And it wasn't someone who was running in the house like they were trying to harm you either. All right, let's go on.
Here sitting on the back porch. He's was out in the shop. She had taken her medicine and laid down. He came in yelling about something, and she scared her, so she grabbed the gun and shot. But that doesn't explain why he's nude, and it doesn't explain anything. It makes no sense to me.
Back with Cheryl in the driveway, the faces of the officers tell an awful lot about what they're thinking.
If you don't sit down, we're going to have to sit you in a car since you're not listening, okay? We don't want to do that, so you need to chill out here, okay?
The deputies eventually bring Cheryl up to the front porch of the house so she can have a seat and they can speak with her more directly. Detective Shauna Wade from the sheriff's office and Deputy Coroner Gary Stalling try to get her to recount what happened on this day leading up to the shooting.
My name's Gary, okay? I'm with the coroner's office, okay? And this is Shauna. She's with the sheriff's office. Listen to me, hon. You need to listen to me. Sit up. We know what's going on already, okay? So, okay, tell me what happened this evening.
Just start with where were you before you saw him?
I came home from work. He was out in the shop. His son was here. They were out working on his panhead.
And then what happened?
He and I have not really talked since yesterday.
Were y'all fighting?
We had a disagreement.
Okay.
He came home while I was on the porch yesterday, took his bike and loaded off and went away. And he didn't come home till sometime after midnight. I don't know when.
Last night?
And I had my gun on the nightstand because I was here by myself. Both of the kids have moved out. And I'm here by myself. And I don't even know if we have a key to these doors. He doesn't believe in locking doors.
It might seem strange to leave your home unlocked and not know if there were even keys to the place, but that wouldn't be the only thing left open in the Coe's relationship that could lead to problems.
And
you don't keep this door locked at all?
No, not at all. He said he doesn't believe in it, so I don't even know where the keys are. I don't even know if we have a key to the house. So we were going to talk tonight. But he stayed out in the shop.
What were y'all disagreeing about?
There is a secret that the two have been keeping. Cheryl pauses for a moment, internally weighing whether to come forward with it or to continue to plow on with her story of what happened while leaving out the reason why. It might seem strange to leave your home unlocked and not know if there were even keys to the place, but that wouldn't be the only thing left open in the Coe's relationship that could lead to problems.
And
you don't keep this door locked at all?
No, not at all. He said he doesn't believe in it, so I don't even know where the keys are. I don't even know if we have a key to the house. So we were going to talk tonight. But he stayed out in the shop.
What were y'all disagreeing about?
We were disagreeing about something yesterday that had occurred, that has occurred before.
What? So was somebody else? Somebody else involved?
Ooh, this is getting good. This is getting good. So she has many secrets, and she was drinking for a reason. She was upset. They had an argument about something. She really doesn't want to tell them what it's about. And I mean, I know people who don't lock doors, right? Especially in very safe neighborhoods. Some people don't knock doors, especially if it's a community that everybody know each other. A lot of people, don't lock, all their doors, right? That's not something I would advise in New York, but in other places, I could definitely understand that, like, people not locking their doors, especially if they're just sitting out on the porch and stuff like that. But there is slam lock. There is slam lock, and from what I see, their house doesn't seem like it's like a close knit type of housing community. They seem like they have a little distance from the next neighbor. When all the vehicles started popping up, they have a forest right in front of them. It doesn't seem like it's all the way close knit like in that way. So that being fearful in that way, that's I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, in her situation, their house doesn't seem like it has to worry about someone walking in or a random stranger walking in. I do find it very concerning that, she said that both their kids are grown, so it's just them in the house, but then he was over there with his brother, right? I guess, or working on a panhand in the back of the shop. And they keep on showing pictures of the garage, so I'm really concerned about that too. My thing so far, it does seem like maybe there was another man involved. Maybe there was some cheating going on. We don't know whether or not if it was cheating on her end or cheating on the husband end, but we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out real soon.
Not particularly.
Okay.
So we hadn't talked. We didn't talk. He was asleep this morning when I left for work. We didn't talk all day. And he sent me a text at 3 o'clock and told me he was ready to talk. And I told him I wasn't sure if I was. And that I'd be home when I got home. Maybe we could talk then. He stayed out in the shop when I got home. I came in. I drank several Angry Orchards.
What time did you come in?
At about 5:30.
Okay.
I didn't see him. I didn't see him when I got home.
Okay.
I heard him and the music playing out there.
I got you.
And his son was here. And his son came in and came to the garage and asked me to put the wild turkey back in the freezer because he had asked for a shot and couldn't find the glass. So I put the wild turkey back in the freezer. I put the groceries up. I went out and I got an Angry Orchard and I sat on the back porch. I always sit on the back porch every day and have a few beers. I have a few Captain Morgan's and Dr. Pepper, or Angry Orchard is what I had tonight. I had those. He was still out in the shop. I decided I needed to go to bed because I have to open tomorrow. And I went in and I took my medicine. He was still out here. I fell asleep. And then I heard somebody come in the door yelling, and I just reached over on my nightstand and grabbed my gun because that was the only thing I needed to do.
So you grabbed your gun, and then what?
I shot twice. And I figured out it was him after I shot him, and he told me I had shot him.
Did you see him?
The bedroom door was closed. I have blackout curtains on the windows. No. No.
Was the TV still on at that point?
The TV was still on, but I couldn't. All the doors were closed.
Was there anybody else here?
No.
At that time, are you sure there was nobody else
No.
here besides the two?
It was just the two of us. His son had left a while back. I heard his truck leave, but I was still out on the back porch, and he was still up in the shop.
The investigators have to let her get her story out. It's becoming obvious there's something she's holding back, but until they let her get the rest of the story out of the way, they can't really dig any deeper, especially without being in a situation where she has been apprised of her rights. There's also the possibility that one of the other officers already knows what the secret is. Word travels fast in a small community, and sometimes what appears to be just tawdry gossip turns out to have a kernel of truth. They lead her back to the confrontation. Unlike Cheryl, most of our secrets don't end up in murder, thankfully. All of us, however, have parts of our lives we'd rather keep private. And if you're anything like me, you'd be surprised to learn that companies are using your private data to tailor the prices of goods and services online. Just the other night, I was quoted a different...
No, it was all by text message. We never even saw each other.
Did you say anything back to him?
After he said that I shot him?
No, when he was yelling.
No, I just grabbed the gun because all I heard was yelling, and I was in a daze. I was already asleep.
Inside, crews worked to secure the scene, and Luke was pronounced officially dead by the Coweta fire chief who had responded to the 911 call. A 9mm pistol was found in the room and was secured for forensic testing. The scene within the bedroom, as described by the investigating officers, had a few other items of interest. As noted before, even though there were blackout curtains, they had not been drawn. The initial 911 call had been made at 7:26 p.m. Records show that sunset that night wasn't until 8:53 p.m., and full twilight and darkness would not hit the home until 9:22. Cheryl had claimed to have gone to bed at 7:15 p.m., only 11 minutes before calling 911. Could she have fallen asleep in such a short period of time and entered a deep sleep so deep that she didn't recognize her husband in what would basically be near full day?
So the timeline doesn't add up. It really doesn't add up. If she fell asleep drunk, within 11 minutes, you had to be drinking more than that, right? Than some Angry Orchards. And it's definitely more than 4 to be that type of drunk that you just knock out and black out. But then, like I said, it still doesn't match up because you were alert enough to know that someone entered the house. My problem is why the first thing you would think it would be a stranger and not your husband, since obviously the shop is not that far from your house, the way how she's explaining the story. If you was able to hear that his son left and he left in a truck, then obviously, and you heard that he was still in the shop playing music, then you know that he's around and eventually that he will enter the house. So why would the first thing be is I'm going to grab my weapon on the nightstand, right? And normally people don't put their weapons on the nightstand. They usually put it inside the drawer of the nightstand. Some put it on their bed, but it really doesn't make any sense when you start to break it down. And then on top of that, it was still light outside. Particularly that day, it was still light out. And like I said before, this is your husband. I'm sure you've been married to him more than, a year. And you do understand his mannerism. You know if he's someone that yells, you know his voice, you know his tonage. You should know these things by now. So if you heard someone yelling, this is what you said, according to your words. If you heard someone yelling, you don't know the difference if that was your husband's voice or even the son's voice, but you can recognize your son's truck though. And that's where these individuals start to get caught in their lies because certain things doesn't make sense. If you can show recognition patterns with these things, but then you can't show recognition patterns with the person that you actually reside in the home with, it seems kind of suspect to me. You said his son doesn't live with y'all. The kids are grown. They're out of the house. So how do you recognize that it was his truck leaving the house, but you don't recognize your husband's voice? Nah. And I'm also, here is me throwing out my theory, right? Like I said, I don't know the story. I'm just listening to it right now. But my theory is that maybe she been dealing with his son. I'm thinking maybe she was dealing with his son. That was probably what the argument was about, right? And who knows if the son is actually involved in this. I would love to see what they say when it comes down to the DNA on the gun, right? That they found the 9mm, to see whether or not if it's her hand on the weapon or if it was someone else's hand on the weapon, right? We'll see. But that's my theory. It can be totally wrong, but let's go on.
Daylight in the room. And wouldn't she have been awakened very quickly upon hearing Luke shouting at her as she claimed? Deputies also noted that on the bed were 2 sex toys, a bottle of personal lubricant, and the bed and floor were saturated with what appeared to be water. Just what had been going on in there? After giving her some time to gather herself, the investigators come back to speak with her on the porch as darkness has now fallen.
What specifically were y'all arguing about? Was it another female? Was he talking about maybe divorce? Are you talking about divorce? Or did any of that stuff come up?
No.
Okay. Nothing like that.
No. Can these gentlemen step away?
Yeah.
We live an alternative lifestyle where we're with other couples, other individuals. He suggested that we go into an open marriage.
And the wrinkle that changes the whole story emerges.
So the argument was over one of y'all want to do that, one of you not, or the people that you're with, or what?
No, Monday I decided that since we went into an open marriage, not the lifestyle, but an open marriage, where he would see other people, I would see other people. Monday we got into an argument about it, and I said, let's just don't do this anymore. Ever since we started the open marriage, it's been an issue. a misunderstanding because I thought he was, because of where I work and because of what I do, I try to keep everything extremely private. And he has misspoken numerous times about the life that we live to people that he doesn't need to talk to about it. He tells people that we're in an, or that he's in an open lifestyle, and then he tries to introduce me to the people. So it's like, it's obvious that I am too, and I don't want that out there. I told him we needed to talk, and I accused him of stepping over that boundary again, and he got very upset with me. I asked him to send me a snapshot of the conversation. He wouldn't do it, wouldn't do it, wouldn't do it. I should have to trust him. I should have to trust him. And he's working his way back from that trust.
There are some important distinctions between being swingers and having an open marriage. Swingers have relations with other individuals or couples or even in groups, but they generally do so as a couple themselves. An open marriage, however, while not ruling out swinging as a couple, generally means that the two people involved can seek out and have relations with partners on their own, of their own choosing. In some cases, there's an agreement between the couple that they must get approval from their partner, their spouse, beforehand. Sometimes it's much more open. That being somewhat explained, Cheryl would later tell investigators that she and Luke had met 6 years earlier at a swingers event and struck up a relationship. 2 years later, they would marry and continue being a part of the lifestyle, even hosting pool parties and swinger events at their home. What could have flipped the switch from adventurous, loving couple still relatively new in their marriage to this moment in time that could never be taken back? Was it jealousy, anger, or just an accident, as Cheryl had claimed? Was it just a matter of alcohol and medicine clouding her judgment? They seemed to have it all, including the freedom to get more if they wanted it. What had happened? The front porch of the home was not the place to get better answers, and Cheryl was brought to the Coweta County Sheriff's Office in Noonan, Georgia for further questioning. They picked back up at the moment of the conflict.
He wasn't really, he just slammed the door open. I heard thunderous footsteps and then the bedroom door slam open.
Okay. So you're saying that he didn't make a sound, didn't say.
So I'm guessing, okay, so they had a open marriage. They were swingers first, and they got married, and for a while they were just, kicking it with each other. And then I guess one of them decided that they wanted to be in an open marriage and the other one didn't. And then even with her, she seemed like she has a issue with anybody knowing that they're partaking in an open marriage. So when I hear that, that's someone who's very private, who don't want gossip around about their marriage and what they do and who they're with, or even make it seem like, you can go and proposition her because, she can step out whenever she feel like it. She's saying that she had an issue with it. I'm wondering if it's the opposite. I'm wondering if she's projecting. I'm wondering if it was him saying, I'm about to go out and do what I do. I'm about to go out and do what I do. And what is the agreement with us that we can go out, and she, got jealous, or, she was like, enough is enough. I don't want to be in the open marriage anymore. That's what it's starting to seem to me, that maybe he wanted to still pursue the lifestyle. She didn't want to be a part of the lifestyle anymore. She didn't want to share him anymore. She wanted her marriage back. She wanted her marriage with her husband back and just being enough for him. And he probably wasn't biting it because you already gave him the fruit, the fruit and the green light that it was okay. And now he's not going back for that. And maybe that would brung on her anger and her frustration to do this. But obviously, the more that, we get into this story, that we know that this wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident at all. It seemed like the motive of it was anger, disdain, right? Resentment. That's what it seemed like it started from. But we'll see. We'll see if this turns out to just be a second-degree murder charge, which I'm kind of thinking that that's the route that is going. I'm not necessarily getting first-degree murder from her. I don't think that she been planning this from the longest that she wanted to get rid of him or anything of that sort. I do think that it was a move on a crime of passion per se. But let's go on.
Anything, the door just slung open. And at that point,
That's that's all. I mean, at that point, I reached for the gun.
okay. And then you said you fired 2 shots.
I'm obviously not a good aim because I fired once and it hit the ceiling or somewhere. I couldn't even see where it even hit.
Okay. And then the second shot is when?
And I fired the second shot to what I thought was the right of whoever. I thought I'd be hitting the TV more than anything else because I was trying to get attention out there more than anything, and so that he could come in and take care of it because I'm not that good of a shot. And I didn't even until he said, "Cheryl, you shot me."
Outside sources would later tell investigators that it wasn't unusual to hear gunfire at the Coe property, as they often practiced with firearms. Cheryl herself would later state that Luke had taught her to shoot.
Like when you said he would say things he shouldn't. Like he would say...
Well, that's if we were out somewhere. I mean, he had no problem telling anybody, a total stranger, that we were in an open marriage. And, I mean, this is the town that I grew up in. We grew up completely differently. He didn't care what anybody thought about him. I did. And so I was more private about it than he was. And that's when it would kind of cause a problem. Because he talked to anybody about it after he'd had a few extra shots.
What I'm trying to understand is you describe someone opening the door, and when you first spoke to Detective Wade, sort of flung the door open and was yelling. And so you got that beautiful home with all those windows, and it's still light outside. And so even if you had blackout curtains in your bedroom, the light from all of those windows would have shone through your bedroom window. So then that, coupled with the television being there, a person would recognize that their husband of 4 years and the partner of 6, especially if they're speaking, yelling, angry. And earlier you said you fired these 2 shots at this figure, hoping that he would hear you, and come help you in the home. But you've also described... Yes, ma'am, but you said that you fired these shots so that he could hear you out in the shop where he was playing music so loud. And you just described going into the bedroom to a place where you didn't hear the music anymore. And so I'm having trouble making sense of how both you say you couldn't recognize even the silhouette of your husband through the door when all this light is shining through, and who is speaking to you, yelling at you, and then you would fire 2 shots in a room where you say you couldn't hear the music from the shop. Why would he be able to hear gunshots from inside that room? So help me understand that.
Well, I mean, we've had people be able to hear gunshots down.
Yeah. Did y'all see that face of, oh crap, I'm screwed? She gave the most worried look that I've seen in a while. She gave a very worried look, because it really doesn't make sense. If you couldn't hear the music or you can't hear anything when you're in your bedroom because you supposedly was supposed to be sleeping, then how was he going to be able to hear the gunshots? If you can't hear the music or you didn't know whether or not if he was still there the last time you fell asleep, you remember he was at the shop, then how do you say, okay, I shot 2 warning shots so my husband can hear it and he can come in and help me? Then I love the fact that he brung up that, your room was pretty lit. The sun hits inside your room very well. Your blackout shades were not closed. The TV was on. You could have seen and you should have seen your husband in totality. You should have seen all of him. And then again, like I had brought up from the beginning, you not being able to recognize your husband's voice. Like I said, they've been married for more than 1 year. They've been married for 4, together for 6. You know this man's mannerism. You know his tone. You know when he gets angry. You know how he sounds or acts when he's angry, right? You know these things. So now all of a sudden you have amnesia and you don't recognize these things anymore. And you really want them to believe that it's because you had 4 angry orchards. You must have had 4 angry orchards, a shot of whiskey, maybe a shot of vodka and other things. But even if you was that intoxicated, then you would have been waking up, waking up the way that you said that you woke up. You was alert enough or you wasn't intoxicated enough for you not to hear that somebody was entering your house. In fact, that was the reason why you woke up out of your sleep, because someone was entering your home and they were screaming. Yeah, lady. Yeah. And I want to just take a look at her mannerisms right now. She's looking towards the left. Now, normally when people are trying to remember things, they look towards they do look towards the left, but they look like more upward. She's looking down. She's showing signs that she's trying to, gather information or say something that makes sense, right? I can't really see her hands because of how the positioning of the camera is right now, but I am betting that she probably has her hands crossed on her lap, which will also sign that she's trying to keep a guard up a little bit. But yeah, so far she's not giving a good enough explanation, and blaming it on the juice is not going to work for you this time. It just really is not going to work for you this time at all.
The road when we were practicing, so I mean, I really honestly I wasn't thinking it through.
Now investigators circle back to the very compact time frame that her story settles into. Could everything have happened so fast?
Then let me ask you this, because you said you went to bed at 7:15, correct?
Sometime around that.
Okay. And you called 911 at 7:26, correct? That's what the call screen says, that you called 911, okay? So that means that you were asleep for approximately 11 minutes. Okay?
If you fell asleep immediately.
If you fell asleep immediately. So 7:15 to 7:26, that's 11 minutes for someone to fall asleep so hardly that they don't know what's going on, or the door's slung open, and the first thing that you do is reach for your gun and fire off 2 rounds. So
I had had too much to drink.
Okay. So when I talked to you previously, you
Blaming
stated
on the juice
that
is not gonna work.
somebody slung that door open and they were shouting and screaming. And remember, I asked you, you didn't recognize if it was your husband's voice or not. And what did you say? Do you remember what you said to me?
At this point now, I don't.
Okay. You had said that you were too dazed, and didn't really know who was screaming and yelling or what they were saying. So now you're telling us that somebody slung open the door and didn't say anything until you fired the second shot, and then he said, "You shot me," and then you realized that it was your husband.
Girl, you would have been better off saying that you was on drugs.
So we're just trying to make sense of all of this. Alright, and listen, if y'all got into an argument or there was something that happened prior to you shooting, let us know. Tell me now so that we can help.
I'm sorry, but I knew it was coming. I'm going to play it, but I knew it was coming. There it goes. The tactic again, ladies and gentlemen, the tactic that I keep on expressing to you on this channel of the detectives. Okay. That is the psychological tactic that they use for suspects. Give them an avenue to go, give them a narrative that they start to believe is plausible and it makes sense because they want the detectives on their side. They want the detective to be empathetic or sympathetic to what they're saying and how the situation occurred, or even believe them, right? So what do? You give them the narrative that makes them like, okay, look, that seems a little bit more reasonable, and it seems like they accept that answer than the answer that I'm giving. Let me go ahead and take that answer that they threw out there in the atmosphere and see if it works for me. And it works every time because most people in this situation start to go into self-preservation mode. They start, their survival instinct starts to kick in any way, shape, or form for them to, lower the heat in the room, lower the pressure in the room, right? Because she's feeling the pressure right now, right? 1 minute she was just nice and peach. Now she looked like a red tomato. So she's feeling the pressure, right? The pressure's going on, it's coming on right now, right? So now the detective is like, hey, listen, if something happened, if it was more than just an argument that happened, you can talk to us. Let us know. Did he put his hands on you? Did you fear for your life? Did you feel like there was no other choice, but you had to shoot him because he said he was going to wring your neck because of the argument? They want to see if she's going to take the bait. They want to see if she's going to take the bait. Either way, what do I always say on this channel? You shouldn't be talking. You should be going to get a lawyer, right? Because even with a lawyer, you could have have the lawyer speak to you and they would have like, girl, don't talk to these folks with that story about you having 4 angry orchards and you couldn't see that it was your husband or recognize his voice, but you shot 2 times. And then you sit up there and said that you're not a good shot, but you was actually trained by your husband to shoot weapons. And everybody in your little town knows that y'all shoot weapons or shoot y'all guns, and oil up your revolvers and stuff like that every weekend or every now and then. You you shot that man in a perfect shot. That was a kill shot to his literally almost near center mass. That was a whole kill shot. You know how to shoot a weapon. You know how to shoot a weapon. Okay? You're not this clumsy shot that you try to claim that you were. You're not that. He trained you well. But let's see if she takes the bait. I want to know if she's going to take the bait and break down and say, yeah, he was going to hurt me and I was afraid and I'm sorry, but after I shot him, I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And I love him, so that's why I was rendering aid. Even in that, it will still kind of be second degree murder. I'm still not getting first degree murder from her, not unless there's more information that comes out, meaning that she wasn't sleeping, right? The whole her having angry orchards was a lie, and she just put those bears in the garage to make it seem like she was doing what she said she was doing. Or was she in the house the whole entire time and didn't go to work and the guy and his son was in the shop? Like, unless we hear some type of story like that where we find out that she wasn't intoxicated as much as she claimed that she was, or she was up or moving around at that time, then, so far I just see second degree murder. I don't see anything else.
He came in and he swung the door open, and he was yelling at me.
Okay, who, when you say he, who's he?
Luke.
Okay.
He was yelling and throwing things and grabbed a hold of me and told me if I wasn't going to talk to him that I had to go sleep in the other room, and he was pulling me out of the bed and I grabbed the gun from the side of the bed and I fired it at the ceiling.
You were the chosen one!
I knew it! I knew it!
You were the chosen one!
What did I tell you? I knew she was going to take the bait. I knew she was going to take the bait. Now it's, he was grabbing on me. He said I couldn't sleep in the room. He was forcing me. I was scared, and then I shot. She's still trying to say that she didn't shoot at him. She tried to shoot, at the ceiling as like a warning, like, get away from me. No. You shot him directly. You shot him directly, and you know why you shot him. But I knew she was going to take the bait. It makes perfect sense, especially we see this play out with women a lot, that they'll harp on the self-defense. I was in a abusive situation or a DV situation that went left. And this is not to say that what she's saying now is not the truth, right? It could actually be true. It could actually be true. But nonetheless, she decided to, take this out. She tries to take this out because she feels that if she said that she had to do it because she had to defend herself, that she might not get no time, or she might get little time, right? She might even get manslaughter at this point. Let's go on.
Okay. Was that kind of a warning shot, or?
No, that was, I'm scared because he scares me sometimes, especially when he's been drinking, and I don't know whether he's been drinking or not. And that was, they were both supposed to be warning shots. One was at the ceiling and one was at the wall on the other side. I wasn't trying to hit him.
Had she tried to just scare Luke off with the gunshots, or had she been actively trying to kill him?
I was just trying to hit the wall behind the TV so that it would scare him off or make him leave. He's my best friend. He's all I have up here. I can't do this without him. And I never meant to do that. Never, ever meant to do that.
In further talking with investigators, she would tell them that when Luke got aroused, he could become very aggressive, sometimes slapping her hard enough to leave marks. She said that she had gotten used to it over time, and on the night of the incident, he came into the room aggressive at a level she had rarely seen him at, except during rough play in the swimming pool or when they were engaged in or activities. She would explain his nudity that night was him stripping off his clothes dirtied from working on his motorcycle. She too had been naked, as they always slept that way, but she had thrown on a top and shorts quickly after calling 911 while keeping a towel pressed against his gunshot wound. Deputies on the scene would report finding a man's t-shirt dripping wet with sweat on the back porch of the home. After the arrest, the investigation into Luke's death continued. A neighbor that had reported hearing gunshots on the evening of the incident also shared a Facebook post that Cheryl had made just hours before the incident. It read, I know I don't always say things the right way, do the right things, care, love, show affection the right way, but I'm only human. I make mistakes. I say things in a way that I probably wasn't meaning or didn't understand and don't know how to put it. Everything in life is a battle. Be strong and courageous. Never give up. Love like you know how. God will never put too much on you that you can't handle, especially in times you feel like giving up. I'm only human. Investigators knew that beyond the Facebook post, there would likely be a long electronic trail behind the couple that could explain more of what happened. Warrants were given to search the data on their cell phones and later a number of apps that she used, such as Snapchat and Kik, to communicate with Luke and other men. In addition, an anonymous letter with no return address came to the sheriff's office that said that at a gathering of friends earlier that month, Cheryl had accidentally dumped her purse out in front of everyone. Among the contents were a bottle of personal lubricant and assorted condoms. The letter read that as a married woman in her 50s, Cheryl felt it necessary to explain that she was in an open marriage and that she slept with a gun under her pillow each night. She said Luke had trained her well in how to use the gun. She would, on the day of the shooting, tell the author of the letter that Luke had told her he wanted a divorce. What would follow from the electronic information would paint an even seedier picture. Luke had been seeing other women as part of the open marriage, and Cheryl had been seeing other men. In the week leading up to the shooting, though, Cheryl had informed him that she had 2 meetings or play dates set up with 2 different men. Something about that had been too much for Luke, and he had gotten upset about it. The pair argued through text, but apparently stopped talking to each other the day before the incident. Finally, at 3 p.m. on the day of the shooting, Luke texted her that he wanted to talk. While we know what happened after that, it was Luke's son that shed some light on what may have gotten Luke so upset. He wanted to set up a playdate with a woman, and Cheryl had told him that she wouldn't give him permission for this one woman in particular. Luke had told his son that he didn't care what she said and he was going to see the woman anyway. In the end, Cheryl would face charges of malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. She would be indicted on February 22, 2022, and come to trial on February 24, 2025, some 3 years later. After 2 days of deliberation, the jury could not come to a unanimous decision on the charges. A second trial would begin on August the 11th, 2025, wherein Cheryl Howell Coe would be found guilty on all 3 charges. She would be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
She never really showed any remorse for what she'd done to Luke. The fact that her story changed numerous times up until cross-examination, her story changed again. She had planned 2, they called them play dates, within a week, and then said she also wanted to be with him, and he said that turned his stomach.
Cheryl is currently serving her time at the McRae Women's Facility in Helena, Georgia. There's a lot to wonder about the relationship between Cheryl and Luke Coe. Were they on a road to ruin, or was it just a misstep along the way, perhaps a statement that couldn't be taken back, a permission denied or granted? Some have questioned if this was premeditated murder, even if only considered for a second, or was it a heat-of-the-moment crime of passion? Or could Cheryl's statement that it was an accident born to self-defense and sleep be true? What do you think? Let us know in the comments section below. We would like to express our sincere condolences to the friends and family of the victim.
Yeah, so that one was a very interesting one. She got life in prison without parole. And I mean, wherever they're at, they literally just threw the book at him. She did seem to me a little bit remorseful. They said that she wasn't remorseful, but I do believe that she was. But now to know that it was all about jealousy, which I kind of figured it had to be about jealousy about the people that they were dealing with. Her problem is that she got into that lifestyle because she was doing what her husband wanted her to do. Her husband wanted an open relationship or open marriage. She figured that, since they met each other at a swinging, company, events and stuff, they met each other at a swinger event. She figured that once they got into a marriage, that it would just kind of be you and him. But I do believe that both of them would get tired of that, of just being, with each other, due to the fact that they were already swingers to begin with, right? So they both made an agreement to just have this open marriage and this open lifestyle, and they'll deal with each other, but the communication was, you have to let me know who you're dealing with. You have to let me know where, when these dates or these play dates are going to happen. We have to have our time together and connect, on a different level, an intimate level, per se, than just having sex, because that's what their open marriage is all about. It's like they like to have sex with other individuals, but when it comes down to intimacy, they share a kindred spirit with the person that they decided to become their spouse. But it seems that her husband, he was going to divorce her. Maybe one of the women that he was dealing with ended up not just being a play date, she ended up kind of being like a side chick. And he decided that he wanted to be with her. She was upset because she took on this lifestyle. She agreed to the open marriage. Now she's 50 years old, and she figured, okay, we're both out there, getting our rocks off. At least I have a stable marriage, and we're just going to ride this out with each other. And then it didn't help that when he was out there, hooking up with other people, he was out there telling them that, yeah, my wife is fine with it. My wife is fine if I crack I crack a shorty or whatever, not from a one or two from time to time and stuff like that, And she was very concerned that she was allowing that to happen, or she was in agreement with that type of lifestyle. And then it didn't help when he decided to say that he wanted the divorce, and she potentially believed that one of the play dates that he had was the woman that he was leaving her with. So that put her at a fit of rage, especially her being her age and stuff like that. Even though, like I said, she had guys and stuff like that, but I don't think that her situations were ever going to turn into she would be able to get in a relationship or even another marriage with those individuals. So she was upset about it. She was upset about it, and she deliberately, like I said, she did it. It was, like I said, I don't think she premeditated, but it was definitely within the heat of the passion. That's what the evidence shows, that she did it because she was angry that he was going to go see a woman that she forbid him to be with, and he didn't care. And since he broke that that trust and that trust with her about them participating in this type of lifestyle, she just shot him. It's sad. It's really sad. Prayers to his him and his family about the situation, and his son. It sucks. It's hard. It's really hard. I wish it didn't have to be that way. I'm sure everybody wish it didn't have to be that way. But would I say that their lifestyle was already setting it to ruin? Would I say that? I'm going to say yes and no, right? Because there are people who are a part of that type of lifestyle, and they are quite successful, right? But the only reason why they're successful is because they are truthful and very open and honest with each other, and they keep intimacy with each other. And intimacy does not mean sex. Intimacy is emotionally attached, spiritually aligned, right? They keep that up. They don't let nobody interfere in that. And that's why they have those successful situations. People who don't do the proper steps or don't really know that lifestyle, and how it's supposed to go, yes, your relationship will go into ruins if you don't know what you're doing and you're just doing it because of the hype that you get to sleep with other people. It's really not about that as much as people think it is. But anyway, that was a good case. So I have one more case for you good folks, and then I'm going to let y'all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It's 285 of you in the chat. I truly appreciate you. Go ahead and hit the like button for me. Let's get this to 285 likes or 200 likes. Share this out to anyone who likes these immersive type of conversation, dissecting it from step to step. And if you have any cases that you would like me to review, as always, at the end of the live stream, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I read my comments guide and I will put it in my trusted book and we will get into it. So the last but not least final case that I have for you today is about a man named John. Oh, yeah, I don't think he's that young, but he's young. Young man named John. He realizes his girlfriend murdered her other boyfriend. Now, I found that very, very interesting, right? Very, very, very interesting. So we're going to look into it. Let me go ahead and pull this up and then we'll get it going. All right. Hope y'all can see my screen. And here we go.
By two men who had been burglarizing her home. Police were immediately dispatched to the scene. An officer entered the home and found 36-year-old Deborah Fraser lying on the floor with a single gunshot wound to the upper thigh. Deborah was rushed to the hospital while police searched the rest of the apartment. Near where Deborah had been found was a revolver lying on the floor. In the back bedroom, police would find the body of 66-year-old Thomas Wadle wrapped in a garbage bag and duct tape. The apartment belonged to Tom, and he had allowed Deborah to move in after the two had begun dating. After finding the body, detectives were alerted that this was now a murder investigation. As soon as they were finished going through the evidence, detectives went to the hospital to interview Deborah and get her version of events.
So it's Deborah Fraser, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Deborah. Just so, what's going on? What happened yesterday?
I had tried to contact Tom. I texted him. I called him. And I never heard back, which was weird because normally he's pretty good about getting back to me. And I decided to I want to go back to the apartment. I was getting a little worried about Tom. I hadn't heard back from him. So I got out and I noticed Tom's truck was still in the parking lot.
That red one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tom never really goes anywhere without his truck. He's always one of those, he drives himself, or he doesn't really go.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked in, I saw the cleaning lady, she was just wrapping up. I walked to the door and I noticed it was unlocked.
Hold on, wait a minute, let me put my foot in it. I think I already covered this case. I think we've seen this one before. So I'm going to switch this out to another case that I had on my list. So sorry about that. We already covered this case. I think you have to check episode 103. 103. I covered this case. So let me go ahead and stop sharing and I will pull up the next case. So the next case that we're going to go over, this one I haven't reviewed yet. This is a killer ex-wife realizes she's not going home. It's something similar. It's the wives are doing a lot out here. They're doing a lot, but we're going to look into this one. Sorry about that, guys. Let me go ahead and find it and I'll pull it up for you guys in 1 second. Okay. Here we go. So this is the case that I was supposed to do. My apologies, and we're going to get into it right now.
Area. When they arrived on scene, they found 45-year-old John Graycheck lying in his front yard. His girlfriend was applying pressure to a gunshot wound. John was immediately sent to the hospital, while his girlfriend explained what had happened. She claimed that two men forced their way into her home after knocking on the door. When John tried to protect her, he was shot, and the two men retreated. While she was giving her statement, a patrol officer pulled over a suspicious vehicle that was driving around the area. Inside the vehicle was a female and two men, and the two men matched the description given by John's girlfriend. All three were detained and brought back to the scene of the crime. The two men were positively identified as being the attackers, 30-year-old Gary Webb and 26-year-old Jacob Gibson. The female was also identified as 33-year-old Jamie Graycheck. Jamie was John's ex-wife, and the couple had recently been divorced. All three suspects were brought in for interrogation. Detectives begin with Gary to see what he has to say.
I just got out of prison in June.
I'm gonna be straight up with you on everything we tell you. I'm not here to...
I'll be straight up with you too, buddy, because this is a terrible situation to be in. I don't know if you've ever been in my situation, but buddy, yeah, I don't want to get in trouble, sir.
All right.
I really don't. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I shouldn't have been there.
The crime we're investigating
My goodness, yeah. My goodness, yeah. You know what? I'm taking this as a sign that I need to go ahead and wrap this up. I did this case as well before too. I thought I literally scratched them off my list in my book, but obviously I did not. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna take this as a sign that it's time for me to let y'all go to, like NYCKUYMO, Mickey Mouse, right? Like seriously, like that's what I'm thinking. So let me stop sharing my screen. Yeah, I'm gonna just end it right now because obviously I am tired and I am pulling up cases that I have already done. I am not literally crossing them off in my notebook. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So guys, I appreciate you all. Make sure you hit the like button. I truly appreciate you. I want y'all to go ahead and enjoy the remainder of your Sunday to get ready for the work week on Monday. Again, when I have time, which I think I will have time next week, I'll be able to come back with you with 3 more cases again. It shouldn't be that long. It should be within the week, but I'll send out the notification to let you guys know. I'll send out the notification. But I really do appreciate you all. I really, really do. And like I said, congratulations to us. We are at 200 subs, 200K subs. Next goal, guys. The next goal is 250. Next goal is 250. Let's do what it do. We on the rise. We moving. And I hope you enjoy the content. And I wish you a great, great evening going forward. So I'll speak to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.